Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi, and she yells, "Oh, girl, you gotta hear this one." A man was arrested for running the theme park, and when they said, "Where's your license?" he said, "My dog ate it." Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one." Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, "You'll never guess who's with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up." Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one."
Hey y'all, you're not getting the petty intro today because everybody knows I'm a petty bitch at this point, and get ready to call me a petty bitch because the judge came out with a report and recommendation yesterday, and I don't disagree with him. Unpopular opinion, I think somebody was very, very wronged, and I think some people are giant asshats and completely fucking stupid. However, being completely fucking stupid and inappropriate on the internet is not illegal. Ask me how I know. With that being said, we have a lot to get into. Yay. Hung Hero, thank you for the 10 Squid Pro Quo memberships. You are very much appreciated on this channel. And I'm about to read something that I'm going to regret. And the only way I'm ever going to say it is in a super chat. Hung Hero, thank you for the $2 super chat. Something, half chicken. So there is a case law cited in this document that is a case that I was actually covering on this channel until the defendants filed a motion for confidentiality. And with no new documents and no new news, I stopped covering it. However, Hung Hero makes fun of the way I say a certain name because of my accent. And the only way I will be saying it, you will see me skip over it, is if it's in a damn super chat, which is why Hung Hero super chats me. It's a long-running joke on this channel for well over a year now. It is the Jaden Rashada versus Billy Napier case. I cover NIL lawsuits on this channel because I am interested in where sports and the law meet. And well, here we go. So the only way I will be saying that name, and if anybody wants to hear the way I say it, is if it's in a fucking super chat. Because I'm sick of being made fun of for the way I say stuff. Hey, Joe, thanks for becoming a new YouTube member. Janet, thanks for being a member for 7 months. Hey. All right, so we're going to get into this. Yeah. Hey, thanks. It's a certain name that's a defendant in that particular case, and Hung Hero makes fun of the way I say it in a joking way. He's cool as hell. He's one of my super mods. He's great. However, Yeah. Yes, this one is going to piss some people off. And for the people instantly comparing Judge Judge Belatho and Judge DeThomas's, no. No. Um, no. They're not even comparable, and to anybody comparing them is just doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, and apparently is either too emotionally involved and or doesn't understand the way law works. One of two things. I live for Wisconsin slips when the Wisconsin slips out, don't you know? Don't you know? Yes. So we are going to get straight into this because this is 45 pages. It dropped last night when I was at work. So I did upload it into Speechify and I had Snoop Dogg read it because what better way to read a document while you are working, doing manual labor, than to have Snoop Dogg read it to you? Because Speechify is fun like that. So I will share it. And I'm sorry, I'm talking fast. This is literally gym hair, don't care. I stepped out of my gym, my garage gym at 1:45. I changed my clothes. I put on some deodorant, put up my hair, and said, let's do this thing. But it's going to be interesting if they try to get him removed just because he is that lower level judge. Oh, yes. And speaking of him being the lower level judge, I don't know if any of y'all have actually investigated who Hinkle is, but Hinkle don't give a flying fuck about nothing. Hinkle is very by the book, will put his foot up anybody's butt and not give two fucks what the result is. So if anybody thinks that this order is going to go to Hinkle and Hinkle's going to be like, oh no, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with this. Hinkle is more stern and more by the book. I've heard Hinkle described as Stonewall Jackson, has a stick up his ass. Judge, if you ever see this, that's not my words. That's how I heard somebody describe you when I was researching. Because he is no nonsense, does not give a damn. Does not give a damn. So if anybody is like, but it's going to go to the higher judge and he might, there's a 1% chance. I mean, there always is a chance. Going to be honest. But the chance is what I would describe as slim to nothing of him disagreeing with Judge Belatho. With that being said, I know, and I have gotten DMs about other people in other chats disagreeing with the host and getting timed out for their opinions disagreeing. I don't care if y'all disagree with me. That's part of life, is civil discourse. And if anybody hasn't figured out that I like people to respectfully disagree with me because we can learn things. If we can't learn things from each other, that's just not how like life works, you know? I don't live in a damn echo chamber, and my comment section and my chat is not an echo chamber either. There are people who are my biggest supporters who I disagree with on a daily basis. So, yeah, last night I predicted there's a 0.01% chance Hinkle will disagree with Belatho, agree with you 100%. And reading through it, we will see that Belatho lays out his logic very well. It's an easy read in the sense of like, I'm not having to jump back and forth. Like, I understood it even when I wasn't paying attention 100% to it, because obviously work comes first, and whatever's in my headphones is secondary to my work. Because I am not getting paid to listen to a document in my headphones, but I'm being paid to show up and do a job. So you will see that I disagree with, or I agree with the judge. However, just because I agree with the judge doesn't mean I'm happy about it. I think, unpopular opinion, there is a stage that this case was in. It is still in the pleading stage because of all the delays and everything. Yes, that's not Jeremy's fault. However, that second amended complaint, pointing out and learning what the judge was looking for, and the judge laid out the hurdles that needed to be jumped over, not according to the judge, but according to the statutes. There's very specific pleading statutes that have to be well pleaded. And just going back to it, I don't think they were well pleaded when the judge lays it out. Yeah. So I read it. Belitho was very thorough and fair. Yeah, it's and here's the thing. Life isn't fair. Do I like what the Hales people and what they did and what they're doing? No. But on the other hand, there are statutes and very high bars to meet for a reason. Most people that were in a 30,000-foot view that I talked to that didn't have their personal feelings attached to it, because I know people who have followed Jeremy for years are personally invested in this. And I can understand feeling a certain way. Totally. I was not entirely happy when I saw it yesterday, but I can still. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that happening. So please explain your logic with statutes, not because I don't see that happening. The appeal will get the potted plant in trouble. The potted plant laid it out with every statute. So from someone who follows trials and has seen multiple pleadings in this in district, because one of the cases that he cites is a case that I was following in this same district. Different judge, though. So let's get into this. And I'm just closing other windows because when you have, multiple documents open and they all look the same. And I am taking longer to do my stuff because this is also a thing. I hope the antis remember this when someone tries their own methods and they try to take them down, or when the antis are like, we're going to sue you for talking about publicly available documents. We're going to sue you for this. We're going to sue you for this. You are complete asshats who make fools of yourself on the fucking internet all the time. And you didn't even get held accountable from the letter of the law. However, I do believe in public shaming, naming and shaming, and public embarrassment, hence the Mondays. I'm not suing her because I'm not that kind of person to waste time and effort into something that's not worth it. However, I will publicly name and shame and dump someone's dirty laundry out on the fucking internet that's in public record. I am the name, shame, and embarrassment goes a long way to change behavior. So, yeah. So, public embarrassment works. Yeah. He was receiving emails from one party and not sharing them with the other side. Well, you also can't. There are laws or rules to that in the judicial code of conduct for the Northern District of Florida. However, we will see. We will see. So, yeah. That shit's never going to happen. Still think Lisa's going to go down for the money shit. That's where she fucked up. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, that's the thing. But those who threaten never sue. It's the same thing as I'm telling mommy on you. Yeah, pretty much. That's how I feel about these people. I call Milltown's worst can suck an egg because you make Wisconsin look bad both from an attitude and a weight perspective. Just saying. And the wanting to get in the ring with people because you're getting healthier, congratulations on getting healthier, completely agree. But when you basically say you want to kick someone's ass because you're getting healthier, the fuck is wrong with you? Discovery was never produced. Wrong. So there are stages to a lawsuit. This was the pleading stage. We never made it to the discovery phase. Hi, Angel Bug. There you go. Kiss. Bye. So we didn't even make it to the discovery phase yet. You have to make it past motions to dismiss before you ever make it to the discovery phase. Okay. Federal 1 is where the discovery wasn't produced. Federal 2, we didn't even make it to discovery. So let alone not having discovery produced, we didn't even make it there. We didn't even make it there. Yeah, that was Fed 1. And then I know it is confusing, and I'm sorry if I'm talking kind of stern today, but I just have, just the visual of sucking egg. I heard it on Charlotte Dobray's channel, and it stuck, and now I say it all the damn time. Yeah, lawsuit never made it to discovery because it was dismissed with prejudice in this case. Yep, so getting into this. Plaintiff commenced in this case 10 defendants, 8 of whom are proceeding pro se. The operative complaint is a sprawling 74-page second amended complaint with pages and pages of YouTube links that borders on a shotgun pleading. Plaintiff alleges violations of the Lanham Act along with various state law claims. Currently before the court are motions to dismiss filed by 8 defendants. So that's the, background. God forbid we need another background in this case. Yeah, they do. They are starting to blend. They, who's still in? Luthman and Preston, because Preston can't do anything because the bankruptcy. She's stayed. And Luthman because all the shit that we talked about the last couple of days. Yeah, it was only 8 out of 10. So Preston and Luthman. Hinkle, yep. But you and I have talked about Hinkle before, and Hinkle's something special. He's a judge where I never would ever want to meet in person. Like, I never want to show my face in his courtroom ever. Not even as like a audience member or a gallery member. Nope. Yes, it's technically not dismissed yet. However, I do not see I give it a 1% chance that Hinkle disagrees with him. I mean, if he would have just filed a motion to dismiss like every other fucking defendant, yeah, hey, traveling fools, how are you, sir? How are you? Hinkle has been around forever in the Northern District. I think it was like 25 years-ish. Yeah. What's my opinion of what's going to happen with Luthman? I have no idea. Honestly, that could go either way. But based on the pleadings that were stricken a couple months ago for language. Hold on one second. Sorry, the little was FaceTiming Grandpa, and she brings in the phone and hands it to me and runs away. So, And hey, everybody who just came in. I have no idea what's going to happen to Luthman. I got nothing. That one, it's really anybody's guess. A part of me is like, it's going to be dismissed with him too. Yeah. I told you a little bit ago that I was one motion away from being out of this, and you and Spawn laughed. Fed 1 is the same bitch. I'm out. Screenshot this. Hey, just so you know, John, I am not the one screenshotting and sending shit to Jeremy, but I do know who it is, and I can let you know in private if you want. I can, you email me, and I will let you know who is the one screenshotting my chat and sending it, so you can do what you will with that. Yeah. So, yeah, and John, it's okay. Your opinion matters. I thought it was pleaded better than it was, but John, I will say, I don't have to like somebody to agree with the reason the judge said. I agree with. It wasn't pleaded as well as I originally thought, but I'm also not a lawyer, so you can take that one how you will. So is she playing Grandpa Runaway? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Anyone with a prediction? And John, it is good to see you in the chat. I know that you weren't here for a while because people would screenshot, so I'm not going to bring your stuff up because someone screenshotted it and sent it to a certain someone. I apologize for that. I was not happy, and I reached out to Jeremy and said, that was my chat. Don't, like, when you get unauthorized screenshots, and people got mad at me for being upset. It's like, no. Yeah, John's right. Honestly, doesn't mean you're not in the wrong, but legally they fucked up. And that's kind of John, don't get mad at me for this one, but being an asshole isn't illegal. So I might not like you personally. We may never, be buddies, but like you being a certain way to certain somebody with an attitude is not necessarily an illegal thing. People call me an asshole all the time. Being an asshole is not illegal. Certain other aspects are illegal. I don't really have an opinion on that because I wasn't there. However, like, yeah. So, yep. Oh, okay. Okay. You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah. So, oh, I gave that prediction in January's members only stream. Hint. Yep, you did. Yeah. So everybody here who hasn't been here since John has been here the last time, y'all, I don't have to like people in my chat, and y'all don't have to like people in my chat. However, we give everybody in the chat a certain level of human decency. And if y'all want to take that shit to someone else's chat and talk shit to each other, fine. But I will, and my mods have free range to block people. When I say respect other people in the chat, you don't have to like someone. But my chat is not the place to argue your feelings with each other. Like, it's not the place to, yeah. Oh, totally. Somebody screenshotted and put in somebody's Discord when I said John was the only one not making money from this. Somebody decided to put that comment in somebody's Discord, and like it became a thing. And you know who you are because you no longer speak to the person who, a certain mole or so. Yeah, ghosty and shit. So, you know who you are. And even though I'm not a particular fan of you, you're welcome here too. So, I get it. But it was there's also a difference between what you know is going on and what you can prove to a judge is going on. And certain things have to be done that when the judge pointed them out, it's like, oh, he's right. Which I don't necessarily agree with people not being held accountable for shitty actions. However, if you want the law to change or you want either get a better lawyer who can plead it better, who's not spread so thin, and or go to the freaking Florida statute or legislature and have the law changed. I mean, reading Judge Bolitho's opinion, it was not pled well. And that is nobody's fault but Randy. I don't have to like people to see when something, I thought it was pled a lot better than when obviously I'm not a lawyer, so take that with a grain of salt. I thought it sounded all right and their facts were in there, but when the judge laid out what needed to be done, it wasn't. Hey, Spawn. Sorry, I'm a little on it. Yeah, Tammy, Squid's channel, Squid's rules. Be respectful, even if it hurts to bite your tongue. Yeah, I'm petty, but I'm also not a complete and total. I don't go out of my way to be a bitch to people. And I'm realizing that that's rare. Because there are people in this world who go out of their way to be an asshole to people. And it's on both sides. And if one side, love you guys, but if one side sits on their high horse and says and acts like they're perfect people, they are not. Because no one is perfect. And if anybody acts like they're perfect, they're full of shit. Yeah, my famous saying, law doesn't have feelings. The law does not care about your feelings. Neither do I. Well, I do, but So we're skipping the background because God forbid, if you don't know the freaking background on this, the judge made a chart. And the judge probably has had this chart for a while to keep his own brain straight. So, this is where I think this is what I think right here will be something that Luthman, the civil conspiracy, I think will be dropped. But that's the person asking about Luthman. But this one right here, that right there, might cross a line into possible criminal charges. I don't know, not a lawyer, but that sounds pretty that was pretty fucked up no matter what side you're on. Anybody who supports that shit, not even touching that one. In terms of relief, plaintiffs seek monetary damages against all defendants, also seek injunctive relief against Lee and Luthman. Procedural history. Do we need a background? So, in the pending motions to dismiss, defendants argue that dismissal is warranted under 12b-6, failure to state a claim. To survive a motion to dismiss for a failure to state a claim, a plaintiff's complaint must contain factual content that allows the court to draw the reasonable inference that the defendant is liable for the misconduct alleged. Ashcroft v. Iqbal. Threadbare recitals of the elements of the cause of action supported by mere conclusory statements do not suffice. A court ruling on a motion to dismiss must accept the complaint's factual allegations as true, but legal conclusions are not entitled to the presumption of truth. And to the defendants all going, see, we didn't do anything wrong. Just because your case got dismissed doesn't mean that ethically you were perfect people. There is a huge difference between what we see as ethically, and I've said this 1,000 times before, and this will continue to be my motto to the day I pass away. There is a huge, huge difference between what is ethically right and morally right and what is legally right. There's a large gap between the two of those. Something might be against my morals and ethics, and it might suck and it might hurt when someone does it to me, but doesn't necessarily mean it meets the threshold of a lawsuit. In this case, it is a little, because I believe some things do, but when the judge read this, I'm like, Randy should have put that in the pleading because that happened. Randy should have put that in the pleading because that happened. It's a tightrope, but as far as the way the complaint was written, the way the judge breaks it down, I agree with the judge. Unpopular opinion, I know, but also I'm not overly emotional because nobody on this case in either side, people actually involved, like me. So with that being said, I have no opinion because I have no allegiance to anybody because nobody fucking likes me anyway. I don't talk to anybody. I'm not friends with anybody. Any party to this case, I don't actually talk to. So I have no allegiances to either side. Take that for what you will. But I don't get overly emotional. I don't get overly emotional about people's lives that don't affect me on a daily basis. And like it's one of those situations where someone put on in one of the Facebook groups about Fleesa, and I call Fleesa because she made fun of my kid. So with that being said, I'm talking about any of the streamers, the people actually in, like, not viewers, but like big people involved in this case on either side. The big three on the what the Hales side, and none of them fucking like me. So with that being said, but so I have no give a fuck about what anybody on either side, in fact, like as a party to the case, thinks, because none of these people right here, none of them like me. I am hated by every single one of them because one thinks I'm anti and shows screenshots of my chat on his videos and equates me with the anti what the Hales side. Ergo, I don't like him either. And the other side says that I'm a simp for Jeremy, which I am not, because I don't like him and he don't like me. Like, it's like when I message you and say, please don't share my screenshots without like context of what was going on. And you not only share my screenshot, but put my mods' names out there while you are equating those people's names with the anti what the Hales ecosystem. Not appropriate, in my opinion. And people got mad at me. Hales supporters got mad at me for being upset about that, because I was trying to protect my mods because they are my friends. So, and I got no response to that request. So with that being said, nobody involved in this case, all 11 parties, like me. And you know what? Don't give a fuck. Ask me if I care, because I don't. So they do that to get a reaction and play the blame game, Squid. And the moment you question them, they pull their tails in. Yeah. So, yeah, sharing Squid screenshots. If you ask me what was said and you get context with it, and I give you screenshots or tell you what was going on or what was said or give you a screen recording, that is different than someone just randomly sending you screenshots and you deciding that it's a good idea to put those on without like redacting other names that were in the chat around the person that you were trying to target. And don't sit on your goddamn high horse and tell me that you're better than other people, because you're not. Like, yeah, you were the only person that ever had permission to share my screenshots. And even that, you were like, what? Check DMs. I don't have my phone. You're requiring me to work. Which, like, open up new tabs and stuff. And you know how my brain works when new tabs. Did someone send a message and... Sure. Why the hell? Do your job. Do your job. Yeah. Let's see. Here. Because you were late yesterday. I'll be nice just this once. And like, I sound like I'm angry. I'm really not. I'm just passionate, and I'm like cutting through BS of like emotional, you know. Hey.
Hello. My humble apologies, my lady. How are you doing, mate?
You know.
I'm
just busy and got a lot of shit to do.
I know. Listen, I'm gonna before you carry on, I would love to say something on your behalf.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, right. Okay, first point. Good afternoon and good evening and good morning, everybody. Right. First point. I think, thinking about the whole time since we've known each other, I think that I've probably been the only person who's had permission to use your screenshots. And even when you sent me them and went, yeah, go on, use them. You can use it. You can show them. And I was like, what? So that's point one. Point two, I was in shit. Do you mind if I was in Shizzy's stream last night, the whole stream. And he was talking about this as well. And one thing I've noticed with this whole document, Judge Belifo, he's basically putting the fucking law down. Yes, I get that. Look in the corner of my eye. I'm looking down at you people. Okay. Now, one thing I've noticed, if you actually read it as a non-lawyer or as let me use the wording I like to use. A cockwomble, an obstacle, or
an obstacle gets me every time. Like, I don't know how that's so damn funny.
Right? Now, if you read this document, the thing is, what you have to, there's 2 points I would like to point out in this document before you carry on reading it. Point one, in this document...
Can I just interrupt you for a second? Put a 2 in, or put a 1 in the chat if you have not read this document yet. Because that way I won't read it word for word. I will skip around or kind of hit the highlights. Because is there anybody on planet Earth who knows about this case who has not read this document yet? Okay, Old School Racing has not.
I read it all last night, and this is why I'm coming to my points. Point one, Belifo has basically written a fucking book here. However, what he has done, okay, he's basically said it's just like, here's the map. Here's where you are. This is where you need to be. Have fun. Without even saying it, but if you look at the document, it's basically Randy, all right, is a freaking good lawyer. No matter, hands down, he's a good lawyer. He has been on the ball from day one. Yes, he's made mistakes. Yes, he got fucking slapped on the wrist. He got fined $4,000, sanctioned for $4,000. Fine. But he's slipped up in a couple of places. Now, all these freaking idiots, right, on their streams, like with Mr. Magoo, and I'll go, yeah, we won. No, because the thing is, there's 2 weeks, okay, for him to respond to this. Then you have to think, if you read it and read between the lines, Randy has just been given the golden goose legally. So now Randy can respond, correct what he needs to correct, because it's all going to be factual and truth. Correct what needs to be corrected, resubmit that motion, and all those idiots on the what the Hales, all right? You know when they say you're up shit's creek without a paddle, or you're on thin ice, or you fell out of a plane without a parachute, or oh my God, there's so
You
many.
could keep going. I know you could.
I could go all night. Now, the second point, okay, is a message to John Cook, if it really is him. Now, someone came into my stream a few days ago, okay, apparently a really fucking like an agitator. Now, here's the thing. If this individual, okay, is like John Cook, because if John Cook would actually be himself, okay, why is he still playing this game? Why isn't he actually standing up for himself? Because Lynette's not going to do it. So why is he not telling the truth? Message to you, John, from me, Spawn, the one that you don't like, the one who's a spawn in your side. Here's the thing. The truth will set you free, dickhead. And here's another thing. You don't realize the situation you are in. I don't think you comprehend the situation you're in. Do you know why? Because you don't have legal representation. Point two, you were taken through the ringer by Bruce Matskin and everyone else. You believe what he said because they're clever with words. Now you're on your own. You're on that freaking lifeboat on your own. So how about you start telling the truth? How about you and whatever you want to call that thing called Lynette Preston, why don't you both start telling the truth?
All right. Can we get back to this document?
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right.
Welcome. That was Spawn's Rogue 2 minutes. There you go, Karen.
Okay. Defendant Lee's motion to dismiss. The court will first take up Defendant Lee. As mentioned above, the second amended complaint alleges Lee violated Lanham Act, FDUTPA, and tortiously interfered with business relationships and participated in civil conspiracy. Defendant Lee claims plaintiff has failed to state a claim for each cause of action. Count of action.
You see what I mean? What I was saying about read between the lines?
Well, yeah, but he also laid it out so that even the layperson could understand what he was trying to say without having to think real hard. And people still don't get it. Based on the DMs I got last night, people still don't get it. And Freckled Ginger, thanks for the $2 super chat. Wow, Spawn Trooper writes Hallmark cards to JC.
Would I be a millionaire? Because then I'll buy YouTube and fucking kick all the idiots off.
And hey, Freckled, let's see if you rage quit today, my friend.
Rage quit, do it now, and then come back.
Yeah, Judge lays it out pretty, like, the first time I listened to it being read to me, I was working. So, like, I was half paying attention and just wanted to get through it. And there was a couple of things that stuck out to me that we're going to get into that just not related to this case are just very interesting to me from a YouTuber's perspective.
Yeah. And also, why were you explaining yourself earlier on?
Because I do it all the time.
Who gives a shit what people think of you? Fuck them.
I just figure if nobody on either side likes me, then I must be reporting it pretty damn balls and strikes and calling it as I see it, because that means I'm not agreeing with one side 100%.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, if they don't like you, that means you fucking hit you're speaking the wise words of the oracles. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if people don't like you, that means you're hitting a nerve. They like to live in their own narrative and their own fantasy. When you put it out there as it is, let me rephrase that sentence. You say it as it is, and if they don't like that, well, they got two choices. One, they can listen to you, or two, they don't listen to you. Simple as. Yeah,
and here, K-Bird, how many times has Hales gone online to claim he won when the suit isn't 100% settled? Jeremy uses clickbait. It's a thing. Like, we all know it by now. Winning a motion or a hearing or a piece of the case, it's still a win. So it's one of those. It's technically not wrong. It's just
it's clickbait, and also like the bankruptcy case.
just
Yeah.
clickbait. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's my thing, like YouTube or social media wide, not just YouTube, but like social media wide is click and rage bait.
And I can fire back with Kate with respect. Is he losing in the bankruptcy case? I don't think so.
I don't think anybody wins in a bankruptcy case. I'm just saying, like from a
Yeah, there's
long-term
both sides more.
perspective, I don't think
Yeah.
there's,
Yeah.
And here and after, thanks for the $5 super chat, Pacer Bill. Thanks for bringing the real. Like I said, I am me, whether people like me or not. I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and guess what? That's okay.
Wait, tea? How dare you mention that word in front of my presence?
Shush, you don't drink tea.
God, no.
The court will first discuss plaintiff's claim for damages under the unfair trade practices. A plaintiff must allege a deceptive or unfair act in the conduct of trade or commerce and causation and actual damages. Although a plaintiff need not be a consumer to assert a claim, there must be an injury or detriment to consumers. A plaintiff may only recover actual damages under the Trade Practices Act. The statute does not allow nominal damages, speculative losses, and this is where I think the problem comes in. Right there. Part of the problem, not the entire problem.
Yeah, and there's also in that sentence, plaintiff may only recover actual damages under the consumer. So hypothetically, if we just take a scenario, if he's lost, say, 2 months worth of income on Whatnot, for example, because of Bruce Matskin contacting them directly, and it's affected his income, then on a technicality, I don't know what the American law is, but on a technicality, he could claim for the loss of earnings, the loss of income, and compensation, just on that.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Don't quote me. I can't really. I'm just.
It's one of those things about, is that a speculative loss? And I think that's part of the issue is like, YouTube income is speculative. You don't know. I mean, you have kind of a track record, but like someone could super chat you $1,000 one day, and like the next week you won't make a damn thing in a super chat. So like,
but the thing is, it's still income though.
True, but it's speculative because you don't know when it's coming.
Exactly,
it's not like going to a 40-hour work job, and you know that if I lose my 40-hour a week job making $25 an hour, I'm going to lose X amount of dollars per week.
Right. Like, hang on though. But if you are fully monetized and verified on YouTube, you have a continuous income, i.e. Views, i.e. Oh God, what's it called? Views.
I get ads, but because it's not. This is where the legal language gets fuzzy with things like.
Right. Got you.
You don't have a consistent income such as I make $25 per hour and I work 40 hours per week.
Got you.
Where it's like that is a set.
That's a set income, yeah.
I know that if I lose this job, I'm losing X amount of dollars per week. Combine that with, suing, and now it's been 56 weeks and I've lost $40,000, like, or $60,000, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like we've all, you and I and everyone who we speak to can agree that we expected something like this to happen.
Yeah.
We've expected something like this to happen. I mean, it's not a win, it's not a loss. It's
Chris, I totally understand your point. However, that is not that's still speculative, because just because people say they're going to do something doesn't mean they do.
Yeah.
It's one of the it's one of those things where moral and ethical, what is morally and ethically wrong, according to most of us in Western society, is not always legally wrong.
Papa Squid's got a good point.
Yeah, true. But, the law has not caught up to technology. That's part of the problem too, which is one of the things that was fascinating to me about this. Is will the law finally see YouTube issues as a thing?
I mean, would it? I mean, like, here's my question: if there was a claim of compensation or like something similar to this, and it was about one person not being on YouTube, another person having a YouTube, and it affected that YouTube's income. I mean, this here could be like a ground, sort of like a base start of people like going, well, hang on a minute, you affected my income on YouTube over the last year.
And I'm sure there's like there's caveats to the statutes about like business owners who don't have a, you know, like I'm a business owner. I'm not a paid employee, a W-2 employee that gets, you know, X amount of dollars a day. Like, so there's probably caveats, but is that by the law? Is YouTube income? And this is where we ask questions, because I don't know.
It is an income. I mean,
come up that are like, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, what about this? Because the statute does not allow nominal damages, speculative losses, or compensation.
Yeah, it's just
for subjective feelings of disappointment. This is where the law literally just does not give a damn about your feelings.
Yeah,
it literally says it. Subjective
it has to be factual, not. It has to be factual and not based on emotions or my feelings are hurt. But however, YouTube, being a full-time YouTube creator, can be considered self-employment. Because the thing is, if you are working every day on YouTube and you have an income and you have to pay taxes, like, you know, obviously local taxes, or I have to pay taxes after a certain amount, then you are basically classed as self-employed.
So here's the thing, Ruggles. I sort of see where you're coming from, but the part of the pleading stage is Jeremy had 3 complaints to get it right. It was dismissed without ever asking why, I thought. So and he'll mention it in a second, but he mentioned it up here, which I skipped. So so the court asked, or what's his nuts? Dude who called me fat.
Who?
MLS. It said MLS, defendant Helm filed a motion for a more definitive statement, which led the court to order in Hales to file an amended complaint. Plaintiff filed their first amended complaint. Plaintiff later filed a second amended complaint. So that was the more definite statement was you didn't do it right the first time, fix it.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
Hinkle just responded to anonymous objection. Hold on. Go into.
What I find quite strange, it says at the bottom there, it says there's a second amendment complaint that defendants now seek to dismiss. That's interesting. Plaintiffs
filed the later second amendment, which named the current defendants, asserted the claims involving civil conspiracy, you know, that it's the second amended complaints that, because they can't they can't dismiss the original complaint or the first amended complaint because those no longer exist.
Got you. Right. So they so as soon as you put another motion in, it voids the first one.
As soon as you put an amended complaint in, the original complaint or the first amended complaint goes out the.
Got you.
Hold on 1 second. I have to figure out what my child is screaming about.
Yeah, go for it. And I'll take over the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Spawn Show, and please make sure you take your seats, relax, take your shoes off if you want to, unless you haven't washed your feet, then keep your shoes on. This was expected. However, this is not a win or a loss. This is basically giving Randy the ability to bring out the big guns. Yes. Hi, Papa Squid. How you doing, fella? It's like I had. So this is going to be interesting. I am glad I don't do the documents because I like to be unbiased when it comes to my opinion. And to be perfectly honest with you, if the What the Hells think that they've like won this one, I mean, let's put it this way: like they all think they've won it. Luthman apparently was on there after some screenshot I've seen. You know, Mr. Magoo was on their platform. Well, hey, You're not out of the woods yet, sunshine. You absolute pleb. But what gets me is that, like, you know, Lynette Preston and John Cook, they think that they're untouchable, and they don't realize that this bankruptcy is gonna basically, you know, and they still don't get it. I don't understand how a human being cannot recognize that they are on a cliff edge. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. Hi, Roy. How you doing? It makes no sense. I mean, how can you be like? If I was a lawyer, right, and Lynette Preston turned around to me and said, I want to sue the crampons and all these people. Oh, I'd be on it like a freaking flea on. Oh, wait, I can't use that word. I'll be on the, yeah. Yes. But this is dismiss free people right now. I mean, here and after that, they're not, this is primarily, there's still 2 weeks for Randy to respond to this. And considering the telltales in between the lines on this document, Randy can come back with a motion that would blow this one out of the water. That's for sure. Because the thing is, this is only a recommendation. So the fact that he's got 2 weeks to respond to it, I can tell you right now, he's at the moment this went on the docket, right? I bet you any money he and his team were already on top of it. That I can assure you of. Take care, Tommy. I just can't understand why this is still going on. I mean, like, at the end of the day, we all know that all these people have done is try to just drag it out. And to be perfectly honest with you, have they really won something? No. They've played a game with the legal system. They've used loopholes in the legal system to play a game, and they think they've got away with it. But I doubt. I think there's more to come to this. I mean, like, I've never thought for 1 minute that, you know, they're not going to get away with it. Yeah, it may not go against the magistrate's recommendation, but if a judge would, I mean, here's the thing: if a judge would accept a magistrate's word every time, then court cases would yeah, people wouldn't even, you know, I think there's more shit to hit the fan to this. I think that, like, that this document has opened the floodgates. In my opinion, if you want my opinion, Pepper Squid, I think I would say that I would say by June, July, I would say by mid-year we would get an answer.
Okay. I hate to interrupt, but I gotta go take care of an emergency. I have to go take care of an emergency. See the private chat, and I will be back in a little bit. Hold on.
Oh, okay, yeah. Do you want me to just I'll carry on chatting. I don't mind.
Yeah, you can carry on chatting. I'll be as quick as I can, but yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I think it's going to be mid-year. I've always said, you know, you're going to lose some, you're going to win some, but Jeremy overall is going to win this case, because, like, a lot of people think it's about the what the Hales, but it's not. The case is about it's Lynette Preston versus Jeremy Hales. Yeah, the Fed 2 case is Jeremy Hales suing everyone else for what their involvement and what they've done. So let's not get confused about that. Well, yeah, that's what you can, Jeff. That's what you can do. If he wants to object to it, he can, but he has every right to object to it. And if he objects to it, then obviously that opens the floodgates. Because let's be honest with you, every bit of evidence hasn't even been shown in court yet. But then again, every time you read these documents or every time something happens, it confuses the shit out of me. Because don't forget, I don't live in America and I don't know the law over there. So, I am just giving you my observational opinion. Anyways, who filed the suit first? In other words, who bought the suit and had to prove its legitimacy? K-Bird, if I can remember correctly, because obviously my brain's not made of a computer. One thing, I believe that the Preston's, Lynette Preston was pressing things and then basically started talking shit. Then Jeremy and George sent them a cease and desist, and they ignored that cease and desist, and that's when it went from there. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And around that time, that's where all these signs turned up about, Jeremy Hales being a PD file and other stuff. And it just spiraled from there. And it was Bruce Matskin, or how can I put it? At the time, obviously they were dealing with the restraining order and everything else. And that, if I can remember correctly, it is when Deuce Boy caught the ambulance he was chasing. And that's when these frivolous cases started happening, like the trespass and the thumbnail. Because if you remember the trespass, okay, I even checked American law, residential law, and anyone who's been evicted has the right to ask or request anybody they like to help them remove their property from said property they're being evicted from. And they have that legal right. And due to the fact that, Lynette told him that he's been evicted, they get off the property and all that shit, she basically put herself in a legal conundrum because she made herself the landlord and made him the tenant. So under tenant law, landlord law, under those rules, he had every right to ask anybody. And he asked the people who happened to be in a sort of a conflict with them at the time. Doesn't matter. It's up to him. He asked them, not the other way around. That's why they called it in the invasion, because that was Bruce's little word. And then after that, it was the thumbnail case, and that's what Bruce started. And then obviously, the rest. Basically, Bruce Matskin was the catalyst of all this. Yeah, he has. Yeah, he has to prove the case, and I think he has. But the thing, at the end of the day, you have to remember is that, like, we all have our opinions, even if we don't agree with each other's opinions. We have to agree on one thing. He didn't start this. He's just defending himself, and he's basically turned around and said, right, okay, I'm going to sue you. I mean, they tried to twist it that, like, he likes to sue people. No, he defends himself, and if he can use the law to prove his innocence or prove he's right, then so be it. Everyone's got that right. But when you get told, hey, stop, leave me alone, don't contact me, don't ask me for anything, and someone doesn't listen, and this person has not just had this issue at one place, but on multiple places, right? How many, 38 different variations of names, with including 7 various different surnames. You know, where do you draw the line? Who do you believe? I mean, at the end of the day, I think Lynette Preston is stupid because she allows other people to control certain aspects. You know, she had a YouTube channel. She is able to go live. Why didn't she go live? Why didn't she get the support from people directly? So many people got, I mean, in my opinion, got ripped off because, you know, when you donate to someone via someone else, a middleman, obviously you're going to have problems. And look what's happened. And the other point is these individuals have twisted, turned it upside down, turned it inside out, and everything else to a point where people can't even figure out what's up and down. So no. Luthman, I think with Luthman and LP, that's not being dismissed. That's being still, I think that's still going on, I believe. Unless I misread it. Excuse me.
All right, I am back. Thank you all for your understanding that I am a mom before a YouTuber, and that I like you guys, but I love her more. Well, because
I mean, here's the thing, right? Just to finish off what I'm saying, here's one thing that I like to ask. I mean, considering that like all these motions back and forth, and they haven't even had a day in court yet, and the fact that this is and this is exactly what the anti-Hales idiots are doing. They're trying to get it kicked out of court before even it goes into court. Now, my argument is this: if you are okay to sit on a platform for the world to see and the things you say, right? Why are you afraid of being served? Why are you afraid of going to court and say being deposed and actually saying what you believe in? I mean, it's like you do one thing and then say something completely different. You know, it's like it makes no sense to me. Because, I mean, half these people ran around like headless chickens when they were getting served. And now suddenly they're sitting back on the platform going, we won. But they're scared of being served. They're scared of blue tape. I mean, really, like...
my 3-year-old can rip blue tape.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to live in the world of delusion, then fine. But the world of reality, if you are called to stand your ground in regards to your words you've used, then like if you get served, take that opportunity to speak, because what's going to happen either way, yeah, you're either going to get done and you're going to pay damages, or you're going to walk out of court with nothing. Simple. These people brought it on. These people brought it on themselves. They were flapping their gums. They were making accusations. I mean, like I said from the get-go that this was a character, like when it came to the crampons, it was one of two things. It was either a romantic interest or she didn't get what she wanted. But it was definitely 100% character assassination. Now, I wouldn't, and that's been going on for day one. Here's another question you should ask yourself. If this had not been brought onto the internet, onto YouTube, would Bruce Matskin have done what he did? Would have crampons done what they did? Think about it. They were using Lynette Preston, John Cook's situation with Jeremy to get at Jeremy. This wasn't like, oh, we're coming to help you. This was a stepping stone for them to fucking get at Jeremy. Think about it.
And I get what you're saying. And I get the outrage of this being dismissed and people not being, I get it.
Yeah.
But what is morally and ethically wrong, sometimes if you don't put the right information in the pleading, is not always up to the legal standard.
Yeah. And I agree. There was a comment last night about the property and that, like you stop them from going, you can't do that because of easement. And the host of that stream was absolutely 100% correct. You can't stop someone from going onto their property. They have a right to get onto their property, even if that their property, you go from the main street to their property, it goes through your property. They still have a right to go to their property legally. And but it's the fact that a group of people, 9-10 people, have used this to benefit themselves.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say something that's going to be controversial to quite a few people. But I also think that a lot of people are pissed that this got dismissed because they just lost a year and a half's worth of content. I said what I said.
Yeah. K-Bird, to be perfectly honest with you, I've never thought of that, actually. I'll be very honest with you. I never thought of the size of the channel. I mean, look at me. I'm a fucking infant compared to everyone else. But I'll still say it as it is. If I think you're a cock, I'll call you a cock. If I think you're right, I'll say you're right. If I think you're wrong, I'll say you're wrong. But the thing is, what I say is my personal opinion and an observational opinion. I get what you're saying. I don't give a crap how many subs that person has got. What I care about is their actions and their words.
I posted a video where I talked crap about a content creator that has 3.5 million subscribers, and I don't give a flying fuck about that. So
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are like missing the point when it comes to, it doesn't matter how many subs you are. It matters of what your opinion is about it, even if your opinion is wrong.
K-Bird, that comment was not directed towards Jeremy. That was directed to the people who didn't have channels before any of this started, or have devoted years of doing nothing else but talking about this and starting drama. So
I mean, like, I to be honest with you, the day this all stops, and I can actually go live and go, hey guys, let's talk about this trick. Let's talk about this, or let's talk how to press Squid Pro Crawl's buttons, or let's go and paper, like let's toilet paper Squid Pro Crawl's house or some shit like that.
So Tammy Main, thanks for the $10 super chat for Baby Squid to get more big girl bloomers. It's okay, even as older ladies have accidents.
She's learning though. She's learning. I mean,
she's learning. She's learning. It just, her learning made him. She's good with one aspect of the situation. She's not good with the second aspect of the situation, which was the situation that we just had to address, because she freaks out like she did something wrong, like she's a terrible person. Like,
oh yeah,
it's the end of the world, and it's like, no, baby, it's okay. Like it's okay. I mean, everything will be fine.
But she, she's a lady now, so she's learning. I mean, there's gonna be accidents. And that happens.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't have a problem with it. She was the one screaming like a banshee. I just said, I will be back. I have to clean up an emergency, and went about my business. I've worked in OT long enough to know and get comfortable with things that shouldn't be on certain places being on certain places.
Oh shit! Now I just gave Malin a bloody idea.
So,
by the way, I do not take any responsibility or accountability of Malin's actions as of today.
Half the people here where it depends exactly. Yeah.
Hey JK, how you doing, buddy? I was late yesterday, so I am paying you with my beautiful presence now.
So one thing that's interesting is Belitho has always been a bit snarky when he's just done dealing with a situation, kind of like us.
Yeah.
But the footnote, I forgot to read the footnote, and God forbid I forget to read a Belitho footnote, because that's where the fire is. In granting the motion, the court instructed Hales' counsel that he should familiarize him with the 11th Circuit's precedent on shotgun pleadings.
Oh,
before filing the amended complaint.
Who else? Wait.
So basically, he said, "I warned y'all."
Yep.
And I gave you a heads up and like a little tidbit that the court views this as a shotgun pleading. Before you file your amended complaint, you might want to familiarize yourself with the shot. And I think I remember a long time ago basically saying that the judge basically told them what to do.
Yeah, he did actually. I think that was before the sanction hearing, wasn't it? Yeah, it was when he turned around and said, "I am a plotted plant." That I think that was around the time when he did
it's
that.
document 17. So
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I mean, like this whole document is screaming, "This is how you need to fucking do it."
Yeah.
Cross your T's, dot your I's.
Well, the past documents have said this is how you do it, and somebody didn't.
So this one's like a slap in the face.
This one's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna bullshit. If I was Randy, I'd be reading this, and this is taking that paper, rolling it up, and slapping me like you're slapping a dog with a newspaper.
Yeah.
Like, you know how
Yeah, I get you. I mean, like, where do you draw the line of like, come on, use some fucking common sense, man. You're a lawyer.
Yeah, and in due diligence and devil's advocate, he literally said the same thing to BBB regarding boilerplate and shotgun pleadings and objections.
Yep.
So the people that are like the judge is biased, it's like, no, the judge is doing his job. It's the lawyer who didn't. And I mean, I hate to be that blunt, but you all know me. I'm just that blunt.
So I just remembered I remember the nickname I gave Belifo, Triffid. Day of the Triffids. If you've never seen the film, go and check it out. Sorry, Matt, carry on.
Well, here's the thing too, but Beletho has a job to do. In my opinion, he's dropped the ball on being an effective judge. He also has rules to abide by that he can't step over either. So he does have discretion and power, but he also has the same, if not more, than the lawyers. He also, going into this, because everybody passed the bar, he expected people to act like adults. And we, watching all the shit show on YouTube, knew that people weren't, just because they were adult in age doesn't mean they were adult in mindset and character. But the judge doesn't know that. So he has to go into it assuming that everybody is going to act like an adult.
The only thing I'm disappointed in, and I think this is where I think some of the people on the What the Hales saw the weakness in Judge Belifo was the fact that he didn't follow through on Bruce Matskin not turning up for the sanction hearing. That's the only thing where I was like, yeah, this is definitely not going to go well.
And Tammy, I've said this thousands of times before. He punished the one who showed up because fucking a monetary sanction is like a speeding ticket. You pay your fine, you go a separate way. Like if Bruce would have showed up, he would have had a fine too, and he would have been sanctioned right there.
Yep.
But because he wasn't, he has to now be in front of the judge, and there are multiple things to go through. I know it's been a long time, but the Northern Rules of Florida are 74 pages by themselves. So going through Connecticut bar rules, Florida bar rules, Massachusetts bar rules, the Northern District of Florida bar rules, stuff for pro hoc vice litigants, what he is and isn't allowed to do as a federal judge. Does he have to there is a lot of shit to go through, and this is not his only case. People act like this is his only fucking case.
Exactly. And the thing is with Matskin, the day he didn't turn up for that sanction hearing, because I mean that was a slap on the wrist for both of them.
Yeah,
right.
It would have been a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, had he turned up, he would have got sanctioned probably the same amount or probably more, and they'd continued to do their lawyering. However, he didn't turn up, so therefore, what he done, he opened the gate for even more shit. And look where we are now. I mean, if you ignore the facts, then you're just going to go around in a circle with this. Bruce Matskin deliberately did not turn up to the sanctions because he played a game, and he's been playing that game since the judge turned around and said until the last. Can't remember the number of it.
Well,
where
and here, so will BBB ever get sanctioned? Well, here is another caveat that was going on at the same time that Bruce was supposed to be sanctioned. If you remember, in Federal 1, Bruce had filed a motion to remove the judge in Federal 1 prior to not showing up. So think about the tightrope that you have to walk on if you are sanctioning a lawyer in one case who is a defendant in another case, and you're the judge on both cases.
Mm-hmm.
People forget, like, there's an ethical issue with the judge, and knowing that Bruce already filed a motion to recuse the judge in Fed 1, could you imagine if Bruce was sanctioned while Fed 2 was active? Yep. And the amount of motions that Bruce would be filing to get, one, the judge removed, but also be like called those sanctions unethical or unethical, yep, and possibly file bar complaints against the judge. Like, there is so much more that is like, when you hear it, it sounds bad, but when you logic it out and you think about
it was a minefield for Beliefo.
When you think about the logic that has to go into it, like, we already know Bruce likes to file shit to get the judge removed. He has already done it. He claimed to feel threatened by the judge. So if he is sanctioned on an active case, while he is a defendant on an active case with the same judge, that is like, Bruce will file fucking motions and set this shit on fire, because that is just the kind of person he is. And I think Beliefo knew that.
Yep.
So
it was a minefield.
Like,
that's why he passed it on to the district judge.
It's like, it's one of those, like, we on the surface, I know it looks bad. Trust me. I've looked at it too, and I've been like, what the fuck? What the fuck? But when you sit and you like logic it out,
yep, that's
and you go 3 or 4 levels down to figure out the mindset that is going through everybody, because we get to sit on YouTube and play armchair lawyers at 30,000 feet. Like, we aren't actually the ones making the decisions or having to deal with the consequences of said decisions. The judge does. And this is not his only case. And secondly, you never want to be the judge that goes to a fucking appeals court and your decisions get overturned. And fucking Bruce would be appealing them sanctions. And
one thing I want to throw in here, okay, what Squid, just to add on to what Squid just said, right? Like, Beliefo, when it came to that, Beliefo was already walking through a minefield as it was with this case. The fact that there were 2 cases, obviously he has to pass it on. He has to pass it up. But here's one thing you need to remember. This here is the perfect example. How would you react if your lawyer ended up getting sanctioned and all this? And like, I mean, what would you do if you were in this situation? How would you react if you were in a situation, if you were Jeremy? How would you, I mean, this whole thing, this is why I'm a bit surprised with some people and the way people are like asking, the way they responded with respect. I mean, is that like, put yourself in this position, put yourself in this position where you have to go through a federal case and all this happens. Just saying. And the thing is that, and then you have a lawyer who is incompetent, rude, disrespectful, discusses the case on a public forum, okay, which is, I think, ethically incorrect, ethically wrong anyway, right? And then also discusses it with people who have got no bearing or nothing to do with the case in the first place. They inserted themselves into this.
Yeah, and somebody on Facebook had mentioned when I said maybe I'm just dumb or maybe I just don't care, but like, I don't see the point in inserting myself into someone's life that I don't know. Or I think I said interested, and someone commented back, and bless their heart, I know they weren't being sassy, but they were like, I'm interested in yours and Baby Squid's lives. And I said, yeah, but there's a difference. Like, there's a difference between interested and obsessed. I'm not the type to go around and contact people's family members that they might or might not have problems with because I don't like them. I'm not going to go and like Freckles. I'm not going to go contact Freckles, mom and sister and or whatever and say, "Do you know what Freckled is doing?" No, like I don't get the point of that because I don't care. Like I don't know if it's just me not giving a shit about people, but like I don't, and this is the difference between why I have a problem with the Hales, because I'm like, well, and even some of the Hales because of contacting other people and stuff like that. I have a problem with, if we don't like people, why as a society do we feel the need to like destroy their lives and not just ignore them, call them fucking stupid, and move on with our day?
I mean, like I've always had this one question, and I know it's about the individual who donated quite a lot of money. What I find quite interesting is this: considering the individual's background in business, and considering, I mean, obviously that. Excuse me, let me get my words back. At that level of position in that business, that individual would know about legal ins and outs. So why didn't that? If that individual decided he wanted to know about certain things, why did he not employ a QC in the United States and a private investigator in the United States to actually represent him? Because then he would have some legal clout. And like last year, I mean, I think it was before last.
We're getting off topic because that's a dead horse that's been beaten about 1,000 fucking times. And
no, I'm talking about like when it comes to what's it called? The claims that like carry on. I'll think of what I wanted to say because it's halfway through my fucking head anyway.
All right, so I forgot to read that, but
what's that FUB there? Is that federal?
It's the Unfair Trade Practices Act.
Oh, right, okay.
I literally laughed out loud. I was hoping you'd rage quit. No, I'm just kidding. I used you because you're the first comment that I saw of someone who I don't think would get offended because you and I talk. Like, all right. This is where we stopped. The speculative losses or compensation for subjective feelings of disappointment. The law literally doesn't give a shit about your feelings. And it's the parties disagree over whether claims brought under the Trade Practices Act are subject to the heightened pleading requirements in 9B. There is a dispute among the district courts in Florida on this issue. Tennis versus Belmac Roofing, Northern District of Florida, 2018, discussing the split. It is unnecessary to weigh in on that dispute today because the trade practices claim does not survive under the normal pleading standard found in Rule 8.
That's an interesting footnote.
The Trade Practices Act context is a term of art. The sole permissible measure of an actual damages is the difference in market value of the product or service in the condition in which it was delivered and its market value in the condition in which it should have been delivered according to the contract of the parties. This is just it. So the phrase actual damages for these purposes does not include consequential damages or lost profits.
Magic word there. Lost profits. That's the knife edge right there, the lost profits. Now that is where he can fucking turn around and say, hey, I have lost profits, not on.
No, it says does not. The phrase actual damages does not include consequential damages or lost profits.
Sorry, I had a goldfish moment there.
So according to this Farmer v. Humana Inc., which is a insurance company, for those of you not from the U.S., that's one of our medical insurance companies. Casa Dimitri Court v. Invicta Watch Company. Dismissal of a trade practices claim is warranted if the complaint fails to plausibly allege actual damages. Marachi versus Bacardi. Affirming dismissal because the plaintiff has not pled a plausible claim for actual damages. Looking into the plaintiff's second amended complaint, it fails to plausibly allege actual damages caused by defendant Lee's violation of the unfair trade practices. Indeed, the plaintiff's claims are ill-suited to the requirements of the Trade Practices Act. I hate calling that FDUTPA because it just sounds so stupid.
Now, here's my question. Product or service? The wording product, this case
Well-
does not involve a product or service.
Well, it's a that's the other weird part with
Yeah.
all of Jeremy's businesses, because technically YouTube is then this is where the law needs to catch up, because YouTube technically is a service
And a business. at the
in a
same-
business.
Oh, God, this is a good one.
It's also, but see, and JH did not prove he lost profits as he claimed. Well, here's the also thing. It literally says in that case law, does not include. That's the key word. Does not include consequential damages or lost profits. So,
I mean, I hope that Randy reads this properly, because, like, if we're catching up on this, then he will definitely catch it.
and this is why it's important to read things like this multiple times.
Yeah.
Spawn has an Amazon subscribe and save for green tea and fig Newtons.
Oh, in the freaking heart. Yeah, I'm going Ginger in the heart. In the freaking heart.
I have a subscribe and save for a lot of things, but so
Hang a minute, darling, did you hear that?
part of the reason
Apparently
I have
I
an
like to-
attitude is I'm cutting down my caffeine intake significantly, and I'm having
okay.
withdrawals.
It's okay. I've just been accused of drinking green tea.
Consequential damages. Consequential damages definition.
This means what, Ginger?
Contract
So-
law.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm a bit like, I think we need to do a little bit of digging on, and fig Newtons, right? You're just pushing it now. I think we need to do a little bit of digging in regards of the position of if YouTube or whatnot. I mean, like Olites, he didn't have a contract with them. He was just he was just plugging them, wasn't he? He didn't have an actual contract with them. It was just like a verbal agreement. Olite?
I don't remember.
But
To be honest,
Whatnot-
I don't remember, and I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know when I don't.
No. If I can remember correctly, Olite, he didn't have a written contract, but it was a verbal contract. Whatnot was a written contract, and obviously YouTube, he's fully monetized. So
I
when you're
think
fully
Gail comes the closest. Spawn Trooper is a
Right.
man with a cat on his knee, a dog at his feet, and a wife with a cast iron skillet behind him.
Oh, Jesus, Kate.
I think she came the closest.
No, she did, and she keeps on reminding me of that skeleton
They
shit. I
severed
am
contact
scared
with
of that.
him after they were contacted. If it was a verbal contract, bad idea. Because now he had nothing to put in the lawsuit because it was a verbal contract.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but the thing is, he used it as evidential proof that they were maliciously contacting his business.
I get that, but if they severed ties with him, if they severed their contract, but it was a verbal contract,
Yeah.
that's very hard to prove. Like you could put the contract, the written contract, and the email.
Like, I'm sure you said verbal. I mean, like, I would
I
have
don't-
to go back to last year to
I don't
check.
know, but not. It's one of those things that it's not important for this.
No, it's
But
not. It's
Consequential damages, sometimes called special or indirect damages, are losses that do not stem directly from the wrongful act itself. Instead, they are the secondary result that flow from the initial breach of contract. Like the expanding ripple from a stone tossed into a pond, these damages are not the immediate results of a broken promise, but are the subsequent financial injuries that occur because of it. So going back to this document, and talking about the does not include consequential damages or lost profits, which are two things that Jeremy lost. I do believe that Jeremy lost money. I do not think by any means that they did not impact his business. However, going by the Middle District of Florida in 2022 and their case law and their case precedent, it does not include consequential damages or lost profits, which is exactly what they. And here's the thing. Why didn't Jeremy ever, or I say Jeremy, but it's Randy. Let's be honest. It's not Jeremy's fault. It's you put your trust in someone. Oh. The dismissal of a claim is warranted if the complaint fails to plausibly allege actual damages.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I think we should expect something from this. I think there's something big going to be happening on this one.
And I don't.
Because there's a lot of telltale wordings or specific sentences that are standing out.
But thus, the allegations in the second amended complaint provide no basis for determining that actual damages, as the phrase has been interpreted for the Trade Practices Act purposes, were caused by defendant Lee's alleged conduct. The second amended complaint simply states in conclusory fashion that defendant Lee's deceptive and unfair trade practices caused plaintiff to suffer actual damages. But such conclusory allegations are insufficient to state a plausible trade practice claim, damages claim. Plaintiff claimed that they are entitled to $959,000 in damages. And I think that was also asking for that was an excessive.
Yeah, it's the third sentence that I've just noticed that's very interesting. This is probably why some of these comments, what I believe was put in here, makes sense. I mean, like, if you're going to make a claim, if I was going to make a claim against you in court, I would need to prove that claim to be factual. Now, if I know that, like, when you put in a claim, you put evidence in, you have to send that evidence to your counterpart. And with the history of with the anti-what the Hales putting every single freaking document on their streams, I don't know.
I just have to address one thing.
Okay, go
on. This right here, I watched this K-Bird be timed out and banned on Dismissal channels, part of the group, like Roy says, becoming emboldened to tear down other channels. I've been watching the comments, and I don't agree with some of the things that she has said. However, I don't agree with some of the things that you have said. So to imply that someone should be banned or timed out on my channel because you don't like what they have to say and other creators, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I am not other creators, nor do I give a flying fuck's asshole what other creators do. I tend not to watch other creators because I don't have a freaking time. But with that being said, if they have not been rude to anybody and disrespectful, name calling, you can have a difference of opinion on my channel, and that's where I differ from other creators. Is you can have a difference of opinion, and I don't have to agree with you to be in the chat with you, which is part of the reason that, yeah, not suggesting everything. Have a good day. Peace out. Bye.
I mean, like, just on top of that, just to put that one to bed, one thing you're going to
that.
Yeah, one thing
it happens all the time.
One thing I can tell you right now, one thing that Squid and I are fucking mirrored is exactly the same. We do exactly the same thing on both of our platforms. As simple as. Yeah.
Ricky, you might as well unsubscribe to me because I just banned you from my channel. Have a nice day. I might unban you in like a week or tomorrow. I don't know, but don't
Put him on
sit
the
here
bench for
and
2 weeks.
I always say, if you have a problem with somebody in my chat, don't bring it to my chat.
Yeah.
And by saying they've been time, I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck. I really don't. I'm also banned by all the pro Hales channels. I think I'm shadow banned on Tugs because his mods don't like me.
You know, I usually
And
put
Roy,
people on the bench.
You're fine. You didn't imply anything. I've been watching all the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I usually I usually put people on the bench for 2 weeks, and then if I see you,
Well, he won't come back because he puts in. I see him all the time. He was really pissed at the fact that people were letting anti what the Hales people that decided not to be anti what the Hales people anymore, and people were like letting them in their chats and like talking to them and having open communication with them. He was pissed about that. So I would see him. So sit on it and fucking spin.
Yeah, his loss. At the end of the day, his loss. And that, as far as I'm concerned, that this is why you and I get on so well.
I'm just so sick of people
I
wanting me, or not even implying, but coming here when I say don't be rude. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a problem with someone in chat, ban like y'all are grown ass fucking people, or you're supposed to be. By the chronological calendar, y'all are supposed to be grown ass fucking adults.
Debate and discourse is healthy as long as you keep it within the realms of discourse, and and you know, you need to be diplomatic. You know, everyone has got constructive criticism to give as long as you're willing to have a discussion. And if you can't,
I'm open to constructive criticism
no,
because
not
I'm
you. I
open
mean
to
everyone
being
else.
wrong, and I'm open to change my mind. And I don't like it when people go, well, but I don't care. There's people in here who are regular viewers of Fleesa. I don't like Fleesa, but they are still welcome here.
Yeah.
Occasionally I get a DM like, do you know this person watches Fleesa? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as they haven't been rude to me in my chat or disrespected anybody else, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, oh.
I mean, I've been doing that from day one. So, you know, I mean, as long as because as long as you respect the people.
I've tried to be nice and diplomatic for so long, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? You just got to piss people off purposely. Because some people don't take hints. And I don't know if it's a man thing because it's mostly the men.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple of people on the bench. They get released from the bench on Monday. And I don't care, you know, if
there's been a couple people who I've banned in here and unbanned.
Yeah.
Who have apologized for causing issues or whatever and offending me. And, you know, we move on and we're good. However, I just can't.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Shell Bell.
And Shell Bell P, thank you for the $20 super chat. Thank you for being an awesome host. And I think Shell Bell P, you're I don't know for sure, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but you are one of those people who watches both sides and doesn't hate on both sides, but just because I've seen you're a mod on somebody else's channel that a lot of that he doesn't like. So, you know, and I have no problem with not liking people. Like there's 350 million people in just this country alone. Like, not everybody's going to get along, but if you come to my house, respect the other people that are in the house. This is not Canton, Massachusetts. We don't unalive people in this house.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah.
I did, but I don't watch Lisa anymore. Okay, thank you. I thought you were one of the people who I was referring to, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, I've got this one rule. I judge you on your actions in my house. And if you come in my house with dirty boots on, you get 2 minutes.
And Tammy, thanks for the $5 super chat for some caffeine. I have caffeine. I'm just.
I've got this. Listen, I've got this. Oh yeah.
I have creatine, a protein shake, and water.
No, don't drink them together. Don't you don't know. You don't drink creatine and protein shake together.
I didn't. The creatine's gone.
Oh, okay.
The creatine's gone. It's just the shaker bottle.
I was just about to scream at you.
And now I'm on to the protein shake.
Yeah, it's like a drug I needed. I need the protein. No, I mean, just to go before we go back to the document, it's just very simple. Look, we are all, I hope we are all mature adults, and discourse and healthy discussion is good. We have that. It's very easy. If you don't like someone, then block them. But leave your issues and your problems and your arguments outside. When you come into Squid's house or into my house, you respect the fucking community, you respect us, and you respect each other. And if you can't do that, you're getting yeeted. I am an honorary mod here, so therefore Gail and Roy and JK and Flashbang and everyone else, right, are above me. So
he unsubscribed.
Oh, does you need a hug? No, but seriously, guys, this childish behavior needs to stop.
And that's part of my problem and why I'm controversial on both sides and people on both sides don't like me, is I call shit like I see it. And I call out bad behavior and shitty behavior, and I am not perfect myself. But like the one thing I hate, my biggest pet peeve in life is a hypocrite. And this is not directed at him, but I see people all the time talk about not bullying and anti-bullying while being a bully. I see people talk about certain issues and being a good person and having ethics while doing things that are unethical. This is not in this case directly. This is in the world as a whole. But my biggest thing as a pet peeve as a pet peeve in life is a hypocrite. My dad can tell you. My dad's in the chat. Like, what you see is what you get with me. I might not be this brash in my real life, but it is one of the. I hate hypocrisy. So it's one of the things I look for in documents and legal cases is hypocrisy, where a lawyer will write a motion about something, but his actions and his subsequent motion will contradict his behavior. And that was what Bruce did. He was writing motions while contradicting his motions with his behavior. If they hate you on both sides, then you're doing your job right. That's what I say. If both sides hate me, then,
Here's the thing. I'm the type of person, if you hate me, that means I've got your attention.
And haters are my biggest fans, too. Oh, I have another down vote, too. He disliked the stream. Thanks, Ricky, for the...
Yeah, think about it. Seriously, on a serious note, think about it. If you hate me, that means I've got your attention. So, on a technicality, everyone out there who's listening right now who hates me, I should be like 12, 14, 15,000 subscribers right now. I mean, if you really hate me that much. Yeah.
So I have to move on with this because we're gonna have to do another stream one. I'm so behind on other stuff because of things in this motion.
Let's do it. Come on, let's do it.
To state a claim under injunctive relief, injunctive relief under that claim, FDUTPA, a plaintiff must allege a deceptive or unfair act or practice in a trade, and that plaintiff is the person aggrieved by the deceptive act or practice. Looking to the first requirement, an act is not deceptive and a practice is not unfair unless the consumer was actually aggrieved by the act or practice. Hill Dermaceuticals versus Anthem. Although a non-consumer may assert a FDUTPA claim, the plaintiff must allege that the relevant act or practice was harmful to a consumer. Here, Plaintiffs have failed to plausibly allege that a consumer was actually aggrieved by a deceptive or unfair trade practice committed by defendant Lee. The allegations in the second amended complaint are about conduct by Lee that was allegedly injurious to plaintiffs, not consumers. There's an interesting way of putting that. Dismissing a claim because the allegations were about conduct allegedly committed against the non-consumer plaintiff, not the unfair practices committed against consumers. Although plaintiffs have stated the conclusion that a consumer was aggrieved, labels and conclusions and a formulaic recitation of the elements of a cause of action will not do. Bell v. Twombly. Everybody's favorite. At the end of the day, the claim is a consumer protection statute that was designed to protect consumers from unfair and deceptive trade practices. It is clear to the court that the allegations in the second amended complaint are not aimed at vindicating consumers who were harmed by defendant Lee's conduct. Because plaintiffs have not plausibly alleged an unfair trade practice act claim, for the claim for the injunctive relief against Lee should be dismissed. Lanham Act.
Do you know, every time when you read this out, it's really fucking real. When I read this last night, right, it was I was understanding it, but I was seeing the lines. I was seeing the lines between the lines. But when you read it out, it screams, "Hey, do this. Hey, use this. Hey, check this out. Hey," it's like a GPS pointing at all the different directions.
Yes, however, the fact that he's recommending dismissal with prejudice means they can't.
But he has a right to respond in 14 days. So
respond, but you can't file a new complaint that has all this stuff in it.
Well, I think he'll be clever enough to come up with.
We'll see.
Well, we'll see. Let's see. I mean, all you can do is wait.
The Lanham Act was intended to make actionable deceptive and misleading use of marks and to protect persons engaged in commerce against unfair competition. Dastar versus 20th Century Fox. Lanham Act contains numerous causes of action. Alexander v. Florida State University. Northern District of Florida, October 27, 2025. Because of that, a plaintiff who asserts a claim pursuant to 1125 must specify the type of claim he seeks to assert. In the second amended complaint, plaintiffs specify that defendant Lee violated Section 43A and 32. Section 43A forbids unfair trade practices involving infringement of trade dress, service marks, or trademarks, even in the absence of federal trademark registration. Planetary motion versus explosion. To prevail on a claim under that, a plaintiff must show, 1, that it had prior rights to the mark at issue, and that the defendant had adopted the mark or name that was the same or confusingly similar to its mark, such that consumers were likely to confuse the two. Satisfying the first element requires proof of a valid trademark, but a plaintiff need not have a registered trademark. Tana versus Dantanas. Instead, the 11th Circuit has said the use of another's unregistered, i.e. common law trademark, can constitute a violation of 43A, where the alleged unregistered trademarks used by the plaintiff are so associated with its goods that the use of the same or similar marks by another company constitutes a false representation that its goods came from the same source. Looking to the allegations in the second amended complaint, plaintiffs have failed to plausibly allege either element of a claim under 1125. Plaintiffs have not plausibly alleged that they had prior rights to any trademark, registered or common law. Indeed, the second amended complaint's factual allegations say nothing about the plaintiffs having a trademark. Thus, plaintiffs have not plausibly alleged facts sufficient to establish the first element of a claim under 1125. They have also not plausibly alleged facts sufficient to establish the second element of a claim. More specifically, the allegations in the second amended complaint fail to plausibly allege that defendant Lee adopted a mark or name that was the same or confusingly similar to plaintiff's mark, such that consumers were likely to confuse the two. The second element of the claim is all about showing the likelihood of consumer confusion between the plaintiff's mark and the mark used by the defendant. Here, there are no factual allegations from which the court could reasonably infer that defendant Lee has a mark, registered or otherwise. Even if there were such factual allegations, there is nothing in the second amended complaint that could lead the court to draw the reasonable inference that defendant Lee employed marks that were similar enough to plaintiffs to create a likelihood of confusion. Knight's Armament versus Optical Systems Tech. Accordingly, plaintiffs have failed to state a plausible claim that defendant Lee violated 43A as alleged in the second amended complaint. Same is true with respect to the plaintiff's claim that defendant willfully violated Section 32. First, the court would note Section 32 is not codified as stated in the second amended complaint. Oh, so it's not codified as 15 U.S. Code 1125A. It's 15 U.S. Code 1114. See Savannah College of Art and Design v. Sportswear, recognizing that Section 32 of the Lanham Act was codified as 1114, so the court assumes that plaintiff meant to cite in 1114 instead of 1125. Oops. Oopsie.
Yeah, that was a bit of a slip up there. I mean, like, I've seen a lot of people have been pointing out, making, mistakes, typing it in the wrong digits or wording or, yeah.
I'm going to have PTSD episodes and blame Squid.
Yeah.
Blame Squid. Oh, well, everybody else does. I'm the bitch of the operation.
Yeah, all he needs to do is go and get himself. No, shut up. Don't say it.
All I need to do is go grab caffeine.
Yes.
This arguably makes plaintiff's second amended complaint a shotgun pleading because plaintiffs are asserting two separate legal claims in the same count, i.e. claims under 1125A and 1114, stating that a complaint is a shotgun pleading if it does not separate each cause of action or claim for relief into a different count. Nonetheless, the court would prefer to resolve this dispute on the merits instead of shotgun pleading grounds. That was another bitch slap from the judge.
Yep.
Like, that was yet another bitch slap from the judge, where the judge is like, no.
Oh, I have a massage.
No.
Do you get my message, by the way?
Yeah, I got it, though. Turning to the allegations in the second amended complaint, plaintiffs have not alleged they offered a registered trademark with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. That's fatal to their claim that defendant Lee violated Section 32. Affirming dismissal of a claim under 1114 because plaintiff did not allege that he held an active registered trademark with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Even if plaintiffs had alleged that they had federally registered trademark, the claim would still be subject to dismissal because the complaint fails to plausibly allege a likelihood of confusion. A claim under 1114 requires the use of a trademark in commerce that is likely to cause confusion. Elevate Federal Credit Union versus Elevations Credit Union. Liability for a violation turns on whether the junior user's mark is likely to cause confusion with the senior user's mark. The complaint fails to plausibly allege that defendant Lee used a mark that caused a likelihood of confusion. Thus, plaintiffs failed to state a claim. One more thing to discuss briefly regarding count 3. The title of count 3 references false advertising, but neither of the statutory provisions that plaintiffs specifically say that defendant Lee violated in the body of count 3 deal with false advertising. Plaintiffs are represented by counsel, so this court need not liberally construe the complaint as it does for pro se litigants. Moreover, it's not this court's role to rewrite a deficient complaint or to guess about what claims a plaintiff, especially a represented one, intended to bring. This is him being like, I'm sick of this shit. This is the judge literally laying the absolute smack down and saying, I'm sick of this. Thus, the court need not address whether plaintiffs have plausibly alleged false advertising because the second amended complaint does not actually assert such a claim. Yeah, instead, it asserts that defendant Lee violated 1114 and 1125, neither of which address false advertising. Holy shit. Nonetheless, to the extent the plaintiffs intended to bring a claim of false advertising under a provision of the Lanham Act that they have not cited, such a claim would be subject to dismissal. To succeed on a false advertising claim, Plaintiff must establish that the advertisement of the opposing parties were false or misleading. The advertisements deceived or had the capacity to deceive consumers. The deception had a material effect on purchasing decisions, and the misrepresented product or service affects the interstate commerce, and the movement has been or is likely to be injured as a result of the false advertising. Hickson v. Kersarin. Hoy. Motions and responses like this is why Squid has that bitch line she wants Botox for. That one right there. Hey, troublemakers in the house. Mods, bring out the ban hammer.
Yeah, I didn't even have to look up. I knew exactly who you were talking about. Oh crap! It's funny when that is the day when you know that you've got a good friend circle when you don't even have to look up and know exactly who it is. Hi, Ratus. How you doing, mate?
Oh, and if you haven't seen, Ratus put out the full video of the parody video of my ring battle with Bruce the Deuce, and it's hilarious.
I was laughing my ass off when I watched that because I wasn't expecting the end part.
No. Yeah, send extra Starbucks cash for Squid's Botox injections, really for headaches. Yeah, I'm trying to talk my providers into giving me Botox for my migraines so I can stop taking a pill every day, because I don't know what's worse. That people are like, Botox is really bad for you. I get it, but how good is taking a pill every day? In that case, it's like a horse apiece, you know?
Cassie just mentioned the no words. Every time I hear mac and cheese, I'm like,
All right. Here, plaintiffs have not plausibly alleged defendant Lee used false and misleading advertisements that deceived or had the capacity to deceive consumers. And that's another one of those lying to people on a YouTube channel and or telling falsehoods on a YouTube channel. Is that technically it's advertising? Is it technically advertising? There's another one of those weird YouTube-y specific questions that
there's a word for it. Let me think. I mean, you know, when you oh god, what's the word for I'm looking for?
Well,
you carry on. I'll think of the word and then I'll let you know.
So, unlike advertisements, here we go. The statements allegedly made by defendant Lee on YouTube and or other social media outlets do not propose a commercial transaction. Tomanik MD versus Novella, rejecting a claim that blog posts that were critical of the plaintiff's medical practice constituted false advertising in violation of Lanham. Merzinska v. Hutton, stating that for Lanham Act false advertising claim, an advertisement must be a commercial speech. And commercial speech is speech which does no more than propose a commercial transaction. Me just sitting on here and talking is not commercial speech, which I found really interesting. And if I were to do like my F-bomb stuff, if I were to get because I've been using this shit like wildfire, if I were to get a sponsorship, would the specific advertisement, that would be commercial speech designed to sell a product, but the rest of my stream is not commercial speech.
Right. There's the word I was looking for. Disingenuous.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing. They were being disingenuous because they were making a false statement to get people to react.
And in that country, being a disingenuous asshole is not illegal.
Mm-hmm.
It's the downside of the First Amendment. You have to deal with speech and that you don't like, that is going to be against you. Like, I'm sure certain people are going to other streams and talking shit about me because of my opinion on this. I'm prepared for it. You know? Quit like smelling like a steak. Well, you know, it's grass-fed tallow balm, but it's got honey and frankincense. So you don't really, you know. But So instead, what defendant Lee is alleged to have done would be better described as communicating information, expressing opinion, reciting grievances regarding plaintiff. Yeah. See also Farrah v. Esquire magazine. The mere fact that the parties may compete in the marketplace of ideas is not sufficient to invoke the Lanham Act. Podiatrist Association v. La Cruz Azul de Puerto Rico. My Spanish is bad, so sorry I didn't put the right inflection on some of those words. Affirming dismissal of Lanham Act false advertising claim that was based on the defendant's allegedly false and disparaging comments regarding podiatrists and the quality of care they provide. The fact that defendant Lee may have solicited donations or offered premium subscriptions on her YouTube page does not give rise to a cause of action for false advertising under the Lanham Act. That's an interesting one.
Yep.
That's an interesting one.
Disingenuous. Absolutely right.
Rejecting argument that the placement of articles next to revenue-generating advertisement and the ability of a reader to pay for a website subscription would be sufficient for articles to be deemed commercial advertising for Lanham Act purposes. Accordingly, count 3 of the second amended complaint should be dismissed. Tortious interference. And he spends a lot of time on Lee, but he just addressed her first and basically, like, subsequently, you know, hey, King Paco. I can't say speak of the devil and he shall arrive, but we were kind of discussing you without mentioning you earlier. Sorry. Under, you know, my chat being full of people who watch other streams that I may not like. But I don't care because you're here and you're respectful to me, and that's all I care about. Under Florida law, the elements of tortious interference with the business relationship that affords the plaintiff existing or prospective legal rights, the defendant's knowledge of the business relationship, the defendant's intentional and unjustified interference with the relationship, and damage to the plaintiff. So any doubt whether plaintiff has stated a plausible claim under Lanham Act resolved by considering the purpose of the Lanham Act. It was designed to make actionable the deceptive and misleading use of marks, to protect registered marks and such commerce from interference by state or territorial legislation, to protect persons from engaging in such commerce from unfair competition, and to prevent fraud. To provide rights and remedies stipulated by treaties and conventions respecting trademarks, trade names, and unfair competition. Describing the purpose of the Lanham Act, the allegations against defendant Lee in this case have no way to vindicate the listed purposes of the Lanham Act. All right. Here, the second amended complaint alleges plaintiffs had business relationships with YouTube Whatnot as other companies and unspecified customers. There is no cause of action for tortious interference with the business relationship to the community at large. Code service v. Lucky Access. Additionally, tortious interference requires plaintiff to show business relationship with identifiable customers. Plaintiff's amended complaint does not identify any customers. It simply generically refers to customers, which he should have put customers. And Kasha, thanks for the $2 super chat for Baby Squid. Thank you so much. It is very much appreciated.
I mean, the thing is, like, what do they expect? A list of names?
You could put YouTube subscriptions, and put the amount of subscriptions. Like, this is, you could, you know, you don't need a list of names, but like an identifiable group.
Yeah, but
and Randy didn't put anything.
Yeah, but the thing is, wouldn't that be part of the actual court hearing when they put exhibits? Wouldn't they be classed as exhibits instead of putting it into motion?
He didn't add any exhibits to his complaint.
Oh.
He didn't put any of this in there.
There's the problem. There's the problem. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, like redacting name, I don't know, but if he'd have put that in as an exhibit, that there would have resolved this issue.
I don't know if they need like names. I don't think they need names, especially at the pleading stage, but like a group, like, you know, YouTube subscribers, my whatnot audience, like it kind of situation. You know what I mean? Like you could put generalized groups, and I didn't think about it at the time, but maybe he should have put YouTube subscribers. Was that Facebook page with Hales names her doing? Is that what this is saying? No. That was specifically saying Randy wrote it wrong.
Yeah.
Randy used the wrong statute. Maybe because there are none. No, I believe there actually are. I believe he had lowered numbers of not subscribers, but members, paying members. And I'm sure there are other groups of people that he could name, but the point is he didn't name any. So that's where I disagree with you. I will be if I can get or I don't have access to Westlaw like a lawyer does, so I will have to have ChatGPT help me. That is where ChatGPT is really good. You can say, "Can you give me links to where I can find these cases?" And sometimes it'll give you just deal links where it'll talk about the case. So I don't have access to the full case without paying for it, but you know. Could this stuff be in the discovery? Yes, but in order to get to discovery, you have to get past the pleading stage. So you have to meet certain criteria that the judge is literally laying out. And
I think this, like, this whole document is a fucking eye opener. And the thing is,
it explains why the judge has been quiet.
Yeah.
The judge has been busy.
But at the same time, again, like you said before, a lot of people don't realize that this is not the only case that judge has got.
No.
You know?
This is he generically refers to customers that's insufficient to state a claim. Same is true with regard to the plaintiff's allegations involving their other business relationships with other unidentified companies. We all know Olight, but he never told the judge Olight.
I mean, this should be a precedent for anyone in the future when it comes to lawsuits, to what not to do and what to do, to be honest with you.
I mean, this is a lesson in what you need to, but also 10 defendants is a lot. Like, I get why. I understand the thought process behind it, but that's a lot of defendants to get to organize into a complaint. And it goes back to when I talked about the big picture. I did a stream a couple months ago where we ended up talking about the big picture, like what happens when these are done. Because I don't see the the Hales ever stopping, because they like to get under Jeremy's skin. They know they get under Jeremy's skin. So they keep doing shit to get under Jeremy's skin. Instead of just, and I know I'm sure he's petty like me, where he wants revenge, and I get it. I totally get it. But at a certain point, when people won't stop, like certain people that I've dealt with, if you know, you know, that won't stop. If you give them any ounce of attention, they cling to it like it's a fucking crumb for a homeless person. Like, they cling to it like they're never, ever, ever going to get anything. And it's just, ooh, Dragon's great. A case I'm studying that has a beautifully written motion for summary judgment that even has a table of contents. It's just one of those situations where it was like, I don't think people will stop as long as they get attention. And they know they get under his skin. Is Grandpa?
Yeah.
Are you going to call him?
I am.
Okay, go call him. You need to go potty?
Mommy.
Oh, ew.
Hey.
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 No.
But one thing I have to say, though, like this whole case, one thing it does show you, there are people out there who will go to any length to try to defame and talk shit about someone. So at least now we so if you yeah.
Oh, I just need to return a text real quick.
But it's also a bad precedent as well. Because the thing is, if you get people like the anti-what the hell's group, yeah. Like, I can't even think of what I want to say, because like what I want to say may be extremely fucking 18 plus parental guidance fucking type.
Have you heard me speak?
No, but I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest, Squid. If you look at these idiots and what they've done, and if you got people like that who go to any fucking length to destroy someone's life or business or whatever, and it ends up in a court case, and you end up with this fucking clusterfuck of a case. Wonder what it's going to be like for other people. People should be looking at this going, oh, snap. So in future, if you ever do get a lawyer, do some background checks on your lawyer. And not just like, oh, what's he done in the last couple of months? Go back a few years.
Check your DMs.
Oh, God, what did he send now?
As for the allegations regarding YouTube and whatnot, plaintiff has alleged existing and specific business relationships. The first element has been plausibly alleged, and the court will assume that plaintiff's general statement about defendant Lee's knowledge of those relationships is sufficient to satisfy the second element. Sorry. Finding the defendant's knowledge of a business relationship need not be pleaded with specificity. That leads to the third element, which is where plaintiffs have a problem because they have not plausibly alleged that defendant Lee intentionally and unjustifiably interfered with plaintiff's business relationships with YouTube and or whatnot. Although there are allegations that defendant Lee posted content about plaintiffs on her own YouTube channel, plaintiffs have not plausibly alleged that defendant Lee contacted YouTube or whatnot representatives or otherwise did anything to interfere with business relationships that plaintiffs had with YouTube and whatnot. That was Duty Free Americas versus Estee Lauder. That was Bruce. Affirming dismiss. I'll show that picture at the end of the stream.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah. So Radis made a picture of Spawn with the count from Sesame Street and 3 sheep. 1, 2, 3.
It says 1, 2.
Affirming dismissal where there was no allegation that the defendant conveyed the information in question to the entity which the plaintiff had a business relationship. And that's the thing. She might have, but they didn't provide any, like, and I know discovery is where a lot of the skeletons come out of the closet, but like, y'all, you got to put something in the initial pleadings to get past this.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. This is where I've got a problem. Lee, the crampon, she was not the one who contacted whatnot. It was Bruce Matskin who contacted. So, like, this is totally irrelevant, to be perfectly honest. This should be either he's made a mistake or he's not understanding that it was Bruce Matskin who contacted whatnot, and Lee just jumped on it like she does all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. So it's just yeah, the problem is the judge doesn't know about all the stuff that took place outside the court documents. You have okay. You have to actually tell him. And if you don't tell him, it doesn't matter what you know, it's what the judge knows. That is a big problem to me. In every I see it in multiple cases that I've covered. It's not about what goes on YouTube or social media of any kind.
I get
it's
that,
what
but
the judge knows.
But the thing is, like the motion, Randy, if I can remember correctly, and please quote me if I'm wrong, right? Because I don't mind being corrected. I know for a fact that Randy actually put in a motion where there was proof of emails of Bruce Matskin sending emails to whatnot, and not the crampons. So I think he got it wrong here.
And people watcher, I am not covering that case. There is a YouTuber who by the name of Lost Souls. She is covering that case, and also Jumpsuit Pablo, but Lost Souls is a smaller streamer, and I like to give the small people like me credit where credit's due. Sorry, I let Jumpsuit Pablo, if you ever see this, I love your channel. You called me out on a Sunday night when I told you I had to go to sleep. And I didn't stick around for the rest of your live stream, but you have 500,000 subscribers. Lost Souls needs more subscribers. Not like Jumpsuit Pablo is ever going to see this, but he's one of my go-tos for like prison stuff because he spent 10 years in prison for armed robbery. So he knows more than a lot of people, but has turned his life around. Nor is their allegation on defendants Lee's conduct with YouTube or whatnot terminated or otherwise altered their business relationships with plaintiff. Thus, plaintiffs have failed to plausibly allege the third element of a tortious interference business relationship claim. And if there are people out there who are going to be, like, well, she did, or well, she did. Well, Randy didn't tell the judge then, or if he did, he didn't explain it very well. Have a good time at PT. You know they call them personal torturers for a reason.
Yes.
So. It is just one of those situations where, plaintiffs have also failed to plausibly allege the last element. Damages are an essential element of tortious interference. Thus, dismissal is warranted if a plaintiff fails to plausibly allege damages suffered as a result of the breach of the business relationship. So, and here, a plaintiff seeks $1,835,000 in damages for defendant Lee's tortious interference. To me, putting an excessive number like that in the when you know that's the judge is going to look at that number and be like, really?
I think that was a scare tactic. I think putting that type of sum in there was like a scare tactic.
But I also think it screwed him with the judge. It made the judge go, this is excessive.
Probably, yeah.
And which
I find this, I mean, like I said before, I find this whole document very, very telling, but also at the same time, there's a lot between the lines.
But the allegations fail to plausibly connect Lee's tortious interference, supposed, to the breach or loss of any business relationship with whatnot or YouTube. I'm not a lawyer, and that seemed like I would look at that number and I'd be like, how did you come up with that number? You're just being excessive for the sake of being excessive. So if you're being excessive about something as trivial as that, what else are you being excessive about? That's where my brain goes.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like clickbait. We had the clickbait conversation. I don't like clickbait because it's like, if you're willing to lie to me about something so stupid as to what's in your video, what else are you willing to lie to me about? I know it's clickbait. They're getting clicks for a reason. But like, if you're willing to lie to me about that, what else are you willing to lie to me about? Is where my brain goes, because I'm hypercritical of things.
Yeah, I prefer not to use clickbait. I like to grow naturally. I don't believe in, if people want to use clickbait, fine, but try to keep the clickbait or the title as close to what you're going to discuss as possible, and then use a little bit of it.
Oh yes, and the BBB whatnot thing was federal one.
Yeah, I saw that, Jeff. Thanks for Roy mentioned that already. Yeah. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that. So,
civil conspiracy. Under Florida law, elements of conspiracy are an agreement between two or more parties to do an unlawful act, or unlawful act by unlawful means, the overt act in pursuance of the conspiracy, and damage to the plaintiff as a result. Rashada v. And this is what I'm not saying out loud without a super chat. That's the word that the initial super chat that I got in this entire stream from Hung Hero. That is the word that I will no longer say out loud without a super chat. And I'm not trying to grift. I just covered this case. There is multiple videos on my channel about this specific case because this is a this is an NIL lawsuit where a high school quarterback was going to go to the University of Florida and sued Billy Napier. This guy is the owner of a collective, and that they broke a contract because he had an offer from Miami for a certain amount of money, and Florida offer was more. So he took the Florida offer, committed to Florida, and then they rescinded their offer or didn't do it. So he ended up going to Arizona State. He transferred to Georgia for a year, and then I think he went back out west. So I've covered this until they filed a motion to keep everything suppressed and keep everything behind closed doors, in which I was no longer had access to documents, which means we no longer had access to the case, which means it kind of fell by the wayside. And this is what people do. This is what people do. Roy, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. It's Hatcock. And for those of you who are watching What the Hales and only What the Hales, I have covered that case, and they made fun of me every time I said it when I was reading the initial complaints and the amended complaints and all of the stuff. They made fun of me every time. So I made a joke that I would no longer say that word without a super chat because I was sick of getting made fun of. So if you're going to make fun of me, you're going to pay me. And hey, Stacy, how are you?
Check private chat.
Oh no. That never can be proven, though. Lisa Lee originally told her viewers to go to his whatnot, upbid the auctions, and drop out without paying. But if you were a judge and looking at that and you didn't plead it appropriately, I would look at that number and be like, based on what's in this pleading, you're full of it. And it would make me hypercritical. But I'm just you know me, I'm hypercritical anyway. Hey, Stacey, Spawn Chat, I'm catching up and agree, leave the side drama and enjoy the content. I enjoy going over the documents and respecting many will have difference of opinions. Yes. And my thing is people in my chat will not like each other. And that is totally okay because we live in a huge society where not everybody's going to like each other. But if y'all have problems with each other, either block each other or bring it somewhere else, because my chat and my channel is not the place for your inability to control your emotions. The only person who's allowed to get pissy and not control their emotions on this channel is me.
Yep.
It's my channel and I'll cry if I want to. No.
It's my kid. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Now that I've got that fucking tune in my head. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being a member for 2 months. Full rooster only.
Oh, it's my party and I'm crying for. Oh, no.
So when I saw this last night, so the first thing I did when I was reading through this, and I heard it, because I was having Snoop Dogg read this while I was working. And if you've never gone through Speechify and had Snoop Dogg read you a legal document, it is worth the money that you pay for Speechify. I promise. However, he said that name, and I'm like, I'm going to have to say it. And then I messaged somebody and I'm like, yeah, this is going to suck. And everybody gets a good laugh out of it, though. Johnny Depp and hey, Dose, how are you? Had speculative income as well. He did not know what movie was going to come, but experts could estimate. So how is it different here? He wasn't suing her for tortious interference. I don't think the counts were tortious interference. I'll have to look up. The speculative income was specifically for the unfair trade practices. I don't think any of the counts in Amber Heard and Johnny Depp were unfair trade practices. that's where the specific count comes in. No, you were one of the first people I saw, but the I'm not gonna lie, Ung Hung Hero was the first person that I thought of. Tough room today. Glad I never have opinions. Yeah, okay. French psycho. Do you know why the rooster is the French symbol? Because the rooster is the only being so proud that he can sing on a pile of shit. I love this chat. 95% of the time, I love this chat. Every once in a while, we have to have a come to Jesus moment. But, you know, the gravamen of a civil conspiracy claim in Florida, and that Rashada v. the NIL Collective was the Northern District of Florida as well. The exact same district. As the underlying tort carried out by virtue of the conspiracy, not the conspiratorial agreement itself. This means that if there's no actionable underlying tort, a civil conspiracy claim will fail. See also Honig v. Kornfeld. An actionable conspiracy requires an actionable underlying tort or wrong. According to the second amended complaint, defendant Lee is alleged to have conspired with others to violate the unfair trade practices, Lanham, and tortiously interfere with relationships. So we're gonna get to defendant Matskin's. Okay, this long ass. This right here is the entire footnote.
That's a book.
Even if the second amended complaint had stated a plausible claim, the civil conspiracy claim would still be subject to dismissal for failure to state a claim. It must contain a clear, positive, and specific allegation. General allegations of conspiracy are not sufficient. It's insufficient for a complaint vaguely tie events together by alleging in conclusory fashion the circumstances unfolded pursuant to an agreement. Plaintiff may not broadly allege that all defendants conspired together without specific statements of fact which support the claim. So here, instead of a clear, positive, and specific allegations, the second amended complaint contains conclusory allegations of an agreement without any factual basis to make the allegations plausible. Second amended complaint alleges sprawling conspiracy involving people from across the U.S., all of whom share one thing in common. They've said negative things about plaintiff Hales on social media. But there are insufficient facts to plausibly show an agreement between all the members of the supposed conspiracy to engage in an unlawful act or a lawful act by unlawful means. So, Matskin, tortious interference. As first explained above, tortious interference claim, or he basically restates it. Defendant Matskin interfered with plaintiff's business relationships with its unspecified customers and unspecified companies. Yeah. Now, plaintiffs have plausibly alleged defendant Matskin had knowledge of those relationships. The third element is, again, where plaintiffs have a problem. Fails to plausibly allege defendant Matskin intentionally and unjustifiably interfered with plaintiff's business relationships with YouTube and whatnot. Plaintiffs had not plausibly alleged that defendant Matskin contacted YouTube representatives or otherwise did anything with the business relationship that plaintiff had with YouTube. As for whatnot, plaintiffs have alleged that Matskin had contacted a whatnot rep during an email exchange regarding discovery in one of the other cases plaintiff Hales has filed. But plaintiff has failed to plausibly allege that this contact with a whatnot representative actually interfered with plaintiff's business relationship with whatnot. More specifically, there's no allegations that whatnot terminated its contract with plaintiff, denied plaintiff's access to whatnot platform, or otherwise altered plaintiff's business relationship with whatnot as a result of Matskin's conduct. I mean, karma is a bitch at the end of the day, so I believe that there will be, like, you know, there will be but I'm all for naming and shaming because, you know, like Monday. And if you really want revenge on people, like spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a lawsuit might not be it, but naming and shaming every day in your YouTube content might work.
That's true.
So, Mr. Squid is home. All right, so this is another 12. See, and it's not just the fact that they wanted the 1.8 mil from Lee. It's like that wasn't a total number for everybody. That was specific to her. They want 1.2 mil from Matskin. And as much as I hate Bruce, I use that with I use that word sparingly, but like I hate that man. Like I hate that man. Yeah. DJ Redis, thanks for the Australian $2. You love my neatly trimmed. Nope. Appreciate that. That's what I was thinking.
Uh,
I wasn't about to go there, but appreciate you, DJ Redis. Thus, plaintiffs have failed to plausibly allege. Defendant Cooks, same thing. Defendant Hughes, same thing. Bone Breaks, same thing. Kesey, same thing. Helms motion to dismiss. This is where it gets a little interesting. Civil conspiracy claim against Helm fails for the same reasons. Aside from seeking dismissal, defendant Helm seeks to recover his attorney's fees under Florida's anti-SLAPP statute. And yeah, I have never mind. Florida's anti-SLAPP statute prohibits a person from filing a cause of action against another person or entity without merit, and primarily because such person or entity has exercised the constitutional right of free speech in connection with a public issue. It further provides that a court shall award the prevailing party reasonable attorney's fees. According to defendant Helm, the anti-SLAPP statute entitles him to reasonable attorney's fees because plaintiff's allegations are without merit, and this lawsuit was commenced because defendant Helm exercised his right to free speech by appearing on a YouTube broadcast to discuss plaintiff Hales and another lawsuit plaintiff Hales has filed. In response to defendant Helm's motion to dismiss, plaintiffs have argued that their claim against Helm has merit and that defendant Helm's speech was commercial speech that is not covered by the anti-SLAPP statute. And that right there is what we talked about earlier at like page 10, where the commercial speech, YouTube is not commercial speech. This is where it matters. Commercial speech that is not covered by the anti-SLAPP statute. Defendant Helm has met the anti-SLAPP statute's first requirement because, as explained above, plaintiff's claim lacks merit. Turning to the anti-SLAPP second requirement, the claim must have been brought primarily because defendant Helm has exercised his constitutional right of free speech in connection with the public issue. The anti-SLAPP statute defines free speech in connection with public issues as any written or oral statement that is protected under applicable law and is made before a governmental entity in connection with an issue under consideration or review by a governmental entity, or is made in connection with a play, movie, television program, radio broadcast, audiovisual work, book, magazine, article, musical work, news report, or other similar work. Here's where it gets hairy. Because as defined above, YouTube and YouTube commentary is not commercial speech. Free speech made in the Florida statute itself says free speech made in connection with public issues in pertinent part merely requires a showing the public speech is contained or was made in connection with one of the listed media formats or other similar modes for widely disseminating protected First Amendment speech. Here, the allegations in the complaint involve oral and written statements made by defendant Helm that were protected under applicable law. The oral statements were made as a part of Helm's operation of a YouTube channel called Making Law Simple, and that the written statements were made in connection with a YouTube broadcast that was being conducted by defendant Lee on her YouTube channel. These YouTube broadcasts are audio-visual works or similar works. And in the current world, YouTube is undoubtedly other similar mode for widely disseminating protected First Amendment speech. Thus, the requirement for Florida's anti-SLAPP statute have been met. This case law, or this will become case law for future YouTube issues.
It wouldn't surprise me one bit. In fact, I expect it.
That's where the commercial speech above, and while we read what commercial speech was so important, because we got down here. And I don't agree with you on a lot of things, but he didn't plead it well. It doesn't matter if they have a case or not. He didn't plead it well. And the judge is basically laying out as to why. It doesn't matter what's true. It matters what you can prove to a judge. Plaintiff's argument that the allegations against Helm are based in conduct and not speech is incorrect. The gravamen of plaintiff's allegations against defendant Helm are things he said and wrote. In other words, his speech. And that speech was not unprotected commercial speech. The core notion of commercial speech is speech which does no more than propose a commercial transaction. And the thing that I had about this, the question that I had when I first saw commercial speech above, was the super chats, but the judge addressed that. Our commercial speech doctrine rests heavily on the common sense distinction between proposing a commercial transaction and other varieties of speech. Here, defendant Helm's speech did not propose a commercial transaction. Rather, Helm's speech consisted of commentary and criticism regarding plaintiff Hales. Do I agree with MLS's stuff? No, especially since he called me fat. Like, when I was trying to be civil, I'd say hi to him in chat, and he started drama in Racket's chat. And then he called me fat. So in Nick Staro's chat. So, you know, he can. I was trying to be civil, but he cannot be civil person. As such, it was a written or oral statement that is protected under applicable law. However, I agree here. I don't like what he said. I think he acted like a toddler. But not to insult toddlers, because toddlers have more decorum. However, he's got a point. Yeah, has not been proven the case in court. We just believe many of us due to the evidence we have seen. Problems seems to be getting a ticket to the dance show. This is the dance championship. Why, lawyers? You got to get past the pleading, and you have to put enough in your pleading to address the statutes. I'm not a lawyer, but what I would be doing is having the statute in front of me as I'm writing the motion and make sure that I address each issue in my motion. And maybe he's just overwhelmed. I don't know. He's got a lot going on. Yes, disturbing speech is still protected speech. I don't have to like your speech. And that's kind of the point. It's to protect speech that we don't like. I don't have to like it, but that doesn't mean it's illegal. There's once again the distinction. I don't have to like it to make it, just like here, I don't have to like it for it to be I don't have to like it for it to be true. Like, and I don't have to like these people to agree with the ruling that they got. I'm just curious as to how many subscribers I'm going to lose based on my opinion.
Does it, I mean, if that's what's going to happen, it just shows you what the type of people are.
True.
That they're very emotionally involved, and that at the end of the day, that's not your problem. That's their problem.
I feel like both sides are way too emotionally involved.
Oh, hell yeah.
Both sides.
Oh, that's fact.
Yeah, he doesn't get to present any evidence since the pleadings were flawed. And then, because plaintiff's claim against Helm is without merit, was filed primarily because he exercised constitutional right of free speech. Plaintiff should be required to reimburse defendant Helm for his reasonable attorney's fees and costs in defending the lawsuit under Florida's anti-SLAPP statute. Yeah, I'm civil with people I don't like. But when they can't be civil back, then I'm like, fuck you. I don't have to like people to still be civil. People come in here all the time and talk, and I'm like, I don't agree with you, but okay, that you have your opinion. Like Lori just came in here. I don't necessarily agree with that, but she's got every right to her damn opinion. I don't have to like it. I don't have to like it, but guess what? She's got an opinion. The only time I will boot people for their opinion is my parenting skills. Because we all know how that went over for Bruce and Felisa. Teschendorf, same with the motion, the state of claim, but the personal jurisdiction. 70,000, I think. 70,000, which is totally plausible. Totally plausible. However, the millions of dollars per defendant, that to me is outrageous. That to me is outrageous because it's in 2 years you lost $3 million. Are you really that rich? And if you are that rich, why do you care about some losers on YouTube? I'm just curious. Like, this is my curiosity. But here, personal jurisdiction. A federal district court may exercise personal jurisdiction over a non-resident so long as the exercise is consistent with federal due process requirements. Under Florida's long-arm statute, jurisdiction exists over the non-resident defendant who commits a tort outside of the state that causes injury inside the state. Opinions are like a-holes. Everyone has one and they all stink. Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with you, but I don't necessarily disagree with you. I'm kind of torn because I don't know. I've because of things that have been personally said to, well, not said to me, but like done to me, where I'm like, you took my, like the screenshot of my chat. That was unnecessary and purely done for content. But how much views and how much super chats did he cost me? Like how many views, how many subscribers, and how many super chats did Jeremy cost me by equating me with the anti-Hales ecosystem? Interesting thing, because if his stuff for tortious interference could go through, mine might too. Just saying. You gotta be careful when you file a lawsuit too, because that shit might come back to bite you. Like paying somebody's attorney's fees. But when you use other people's content without their permission, and you equate them with what the Hales, how many super chats, how much ad revenue did Jeremy cost me? It's speculative, but it's a question. Spawn Trooper, you got any opinions on that? He left the building. Lights are on, but nobody's home. It's just an interesting, if you want to like spin things. That's why you got to be careful when you talk shit about people on the internet, because same thing with other people. When they've mentioned me and I've been accused of well, maybe, but also fair use, but maybe tortious interference because I do have a monetized channel. I mean, if you really want to go, it's just like K-Bird. It's just questions. I just ask questions purely out of curiosity, because if you're wanting to sue people for interfering with your business, then why are you interfering with mine? Valid question. Because I've had another subscriber, or another YouTube channel accuse me of threatening. I dropped the Spawn Trooper. I gave him all the screenshots so that he could show them and show what was actually said versus what was supposedly said. And that cost me about 70 subscribers. How much money did that cost me? You accused me of a crime, because threatening is a crime. You accused me of a crime. I proved you wrong. You cost me subscribers and potentially money
And the
Can I
fact
see?
is, those screenshots actually showed the factual 150,000% truth that what was said on the other side was a complete fucking lie.
It's just, and Deftones, Andy, it's literally just questions that this is how my brain works. Like, I just ask questions, and if you want, like, when people want to sue each other or threaten to sue each other, it's like, be careful what you threaten to do to things. You threaten lawsuits and stuff like that, because, like, it's the hypocrisy. Don't do something or talk about how something's bad when you're literally doing the same shit in a smaller, obviously a much smaller scale. It maybe costs me $100, but when I'm trying to put food on my table for my family, $100 means a lot to me. So it's just an interesting question. I just don't like hypocrisy. So if you're going to threaten to sue and sue people for tortious interference, why are you interfering with other people literally doing the exact same shit? It's like people going around saying, you need to respect people's mental health. You need to respect people's mental health, while going around disparaging other people's mental health. That just because, and it's acceptable, and it's acceptable to everybody in chat because, oh, we don't like these people, so it's okay. That doesn't make it any better. That doesn't make you a good person because these are bad people. As a hypocrite. And that's what I can't stand. Like, and that's in life in general. Like, you have Olympians right now that are talking shit about ICE, but then saying fuck ICE. It's like, political, but you're literally saying you hate the way they're doing things because they're getting violent while promoting violence against them. Like, the logic just doesn't, you can't have it both ways. Like, I can't, I can't, you just can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You got to pick a lane and stick with it. And I just hate the when people say, well, it's okay because I don't like those people. That does not make it any better. Like, yeah. Yeah, we can talk about her mental health because, we don't like her. The fuck? But no. Yeah. Or those people that claim to be Christian and don't like bullying and say, I won't tolerate people talking bad about, people, but then talk bad about me. I have the screenshot of the woman's freaking thing going, I will not tolerate bullying to this and this and this, unless it's someone you don't like me. Then it's okay. The fake ass Christians. Something like that. Advocate for defunding the police, then call the police when you get robbed. Yeah, as the Senator Kennedy said, what did he say? If you want to go on. If you next time you need something, call a crackhead. I'll be right back.
I think this whole, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I know that a lot of people in chat, you know who you are, taking the piss out of my sheep, but children have to be entertained, don't they? Anyway, so I don't know. But the thing is like, where do you draw the line of, like, people say things without any proof or facts, but when you show the proof and facts, you're the bad guy. I mean, really? That's where that word dictum comes in, doesn't it?
Oh, I sent a video the other day, and if you have never seen a creator by Jessie Lawless,
Fucking
she
hit
was
the
like
nail on the head on
dictum,
that one.
acting like a dick but playing the victim.
Yeah. I just find it so funny that, like, a lot of people have sat on their platforms and made blatant accusations, but the moment, and everyone believes everything that comes out of their mouth, and the moment you prove the opposite, you're the fucking bad guy.
And here's the here's where Teschendorf just doesn't get things. And this is where Milltown's worst. You make Wisconsin look bad, bro. Defendant Teschendorf also seeks reasonable attorney's fees under Florida's anti-SLAPP, but defendant Teschendorf is not entitled to such fees because he's pro se.
Yeah.
You know?
When I saw that, I did chuckle.
See, and here, there is no basis for providing plaintiffs with another opportunity to amend. Plaintiffs were previously given an opportunity to amend after Helm filed a motion for more definitive statement. Plaintiffs are represented by counsel, and 11th Circuit has never required district courts to grant counsel plaintiff more than one opportunity to amend a deficient complaint. Northern District of Georgia, concluding it's unnecessary to allow plaintiffs who are represented by counsel the opportunity to file further amended complaint.
Can I just add something to that? Right now, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here. This is actual factual. Last year,
this whole page was his footnote.
Oh shit! Right, last year, I think it was last year or the year before. Right, I noticed certain things that was being said by, in the documents, and I spoke about SLAPP, and I actually, and a lot of people seem to get a little bit confused about SLAPP, right? And the reason being is because of what it stands for. Yeah. And it stands for the primary objective is to harass, intimidate, and what you call it? Oh God, what's it called? Hang on a minute. I'm trying to.
Okay, this last thing.
It's called strategic lawsuit against public participation, right? And I mentioned that on one of my live streams. I actually discussed it and went through the whole thing. And 3 days fucking later, right, certain individuals on certain channels started using it like if they fucking invented the fucking wheel.
Yeah, that's all right. Dose Reality and I did a stream on parasocial relationships, and then like I heard 6 channels doing freaking
Yeah.
I heard 6 different channels mentioning parasocial relationships, and it was like that was Dose Reality's thing before she had started her channel. Dose Reality and I talked about parasocial relationships on this channel.
Yeah. So I mean, talk about plagiarism. I mean, that's like 101. I mean, but it just proves to you that a lot of these individuals can't think for themselves. So when someone with a little bit more intelligence, or quite a lot of more intelligence than them, discusses certain things, and they can go, "Oh, fucking hell, we can use that." Look what happens. Just saying. I'll shut up now.
So the last thing that this matter be recommitted to undersigned for further proceedings involving defendants Preston and Luthman, as well as the determination of reasonable attorney's fees due to defendant Helm under Florida's anti-SLAPP. So, As stated previously, this case is stayed as to Preston because of her bankruptcy. With regard to Luthman, the issues raised recently became ripe and remain under consideration by the undersigned. Yeah, Judge has a few opinions on this. He made it very, very clear what he thought about this. Very clear. And he was not happy. And I really don't blame him but he laid it out he didn't pull any punches, but he laid it out very
Yep.
Yeah. And there's I have 7 dislikes. So thanks to the people who hate my opinion. Congratulations. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for the participation.
Even if it was a drive-by dislike because you hate my guts, thank you for the ad revenue. Because
yeah,
appreciate you.
Yeah. I mean, like you, a few of you have actually taught me. I mean, I'm new to, I'm still a sort of like, I've had my 1 year cherry popped, but like the negativity, guys, doesn't affect me, and it doesn't affect Squid, as you can tell, and it definitely doesn't affect Rats or anyone else. What you are actually doing is proving us right. Because at the end of the day, if you don't like someone's opinion, I would really like to see you in real life to see what you like.
And
If
if you hate my opinion and want to talk shit about me, I lost 3 subscribers or 4 subscribers this stream.
Wow. What, for having your own opinion?
Yep, for having an opinion that's different than theirs. And one I know was for telling Ricky that he was banned, and that you don't talk shit about people in my chat, and you don't tell me or imply. And I'm sorry, but saying, "Oh, this person's been banned in other chats," like I fucking care. I don't. I don't. They don't like me, and I don't like them.
Remember the picture, by the way.
I don't care. Oh, the picture, and then I gotta go.
Yeah. I just think I think that like when all this is over and done with,
Kasha just sent me a freaking article. The headline: Florida man arrested for riding alligator through Wendy's drive-through demanding chicken nuggets.
Oh my God. I hope there's pictures of that.
That was the first thing I saw when I opened my
Yeah, it looks like it looks like Swamp Lizard Robbie's on his way around Florida then. If someone
I was like, oh my God. So this is
oh God. I'm gonna use that quite often.
Only in Florida. And hey, Southern Red Sox girl, how are you?
Do you know what we should
finally
do?
Got here and now you need to leave. It's been 3 hours. I need to go.
The Canadians here.
Mr. Squid's home and thinks I'm nuts. So
you're the one.
But with that being said,
yes.
Yeah, but Dose Reality has the best cult song. Yes. And I know that people hate my opinion because I literally said some people are only mad because now they lost content. Like, you lost one of your content, your revenue streams. Now you're gonna have to come up with something else.
Do you know, YouTube needs to come up with a ban button. So when you ban someone, that's it, they're done.
Well,
it makes it so much easier. It's just to go done, bye. And once you ban them, they're off they're off the subscribers list, they're off everything. And it's good for you, it's good for them. Everyone is parted, peacefully. They can go on fucking jump on the motorway and play with the cars. But anyway,
all right. So there is a new document in the in the other case. We're gonna have to talk about it another time because I have stuff that needs to be discussed. We're probably gonna have to do it tomorrow because then we'll do Legally Effed Friday, where we'll just give small updates on stuff about 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. And then Saturday morning at 11 or 11:30.
Yes.
11:30, I think.
Yes.
Flash Fan and I are gonna do week 2 of the Faust trial wrap up and diving into more documents. So
I missed the first one.
And Tabor, you didn't come in here to do anything else but voice your opinion. And I really take offense, and I don't get offended by much, except for when people come in my channel and go, well, this person has been in other streams and been, but I don't fucking care. That implies that I give a shit. And I don't, because if people are respectful to me, I'm gonna be respectful to them. I told somebody this morning, I'm like, what somebody else does in another channel, not my problem. I'm not in high school. I'm not gonna block somebody just because somebody else does. Big fucking deal. And I know that there is a certain creator whose mods will block people for disagreeing with the creator.
Yep.
So
yes, if you're an antagonist and you come into streams where people have normal discourse and you try to stop that discourse, just make sure that you cushion your ass and have a parachute ready, because you're going to get fucking yeeted.
Well, and I prefer people to agree with me, but I realize that there's even people that do agree with me that say things, and I'm like, oh, I never thought about it that way. Because just because we have, and here's why we discuss, and I like disagreeing with people. Because we can have the same opinion, and this is my final thoughts.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
We can have the same end result opinion and got there in completely different ways.
Yep.
And I like to know the why and why people think the way they think and how they got there. I got there from reading the documents. Maybe you got there from being sued yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got to their conclusion in a different way. And I like to know because I like to know things. I'm not the smartest person in the room by any means, but I don't like to assume that I'm the smartest person in the room. And when someone tells me things, I like to go, well, how'd you do that? Or why'd you do that? Or what made you do it that way? I think Mr. Squid gets annoyed with me sometimes because I'll ask him, well, why'd you do it that way? Not that I'm upset with the way he did it. I'm just fucking curious. Like, I am curious as to why people do things differently than me and how people got to conclusions differently than me. And if I don't ask and I don't listen to them, then I live in my own damn echo chamber. And that is just a boring fucking place.
Mm-hmm.
We do have that we will go over tomorrow. Come on, internet work. It's a 45-page document.
Don't forget, we got a surprise tomorrow.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Check private chat.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Ha!
Oh. I'm so if I didn't write it down in a book, it's not going to be remembered.
Okay.
There's Defendant Richard Luthman's Jr.'s motion to strike plaintiff's response for reliance on scandalous, immaterial, and inadmissible allegations.
Wait, what?
That's the this is the filed today. Defendant Richard Luthman's motion to strike plaintiff's response and for violation of Northern District of Florida Rule 7.1F and for reliance on scandalous, immaterial, and inadmissible allegations.
Oh, now he's suddenly using the suffix junior? That's fucking interesting.
But here's where I take a non-lawyer, unskilled in the science of law, and without the requisite capacity to be deemed learned in the law. If I were Randy, I would literally just file a motion that would be like, here is his, like, he went to law school, graduated this, practiced, and lost his license. So when he, I did. It was the count from Sesame Street.
You know why? You know why this has gone in? This went in now, just now. Because if this was done today, right, that means Luthman was on the Crampon stream the other day. So yeah.
Yep. So I have 112 likes and 7 dislikes, and I lost 3 subscribers. Whoop.
Oh well, their loss, not yours.
Or 4 subscribers. Oh well.
Yep.
Dang, I missed because YouTube yeeted me. Sorry. I'll send it to you.
Right,
all
am
right.
I doing the final 4 or are you done?
I have us set up to redirect.
No, do I get a final 4 or
you do? I thought you had like final 100 final thoughts.
What now?
So keep going.
Okay, right. I mean, like, to be perfectly honest with you, I think there's going to be a like that document there from Beliefo has opened a floodgate. So that means, you know, Randy Sockett can address this in a different way, and if he can't address it, he can. I mean, to be honest, I don't know about American law, but one thing it does show is that at the end of the day, it's up to Judge Henkel. Judge Henkel can read this and he can look at all the motions and go through everything. I mean, which there are a lot of. I mean, there are a lot of documents. And at the end of the day, you win some, you lose some. Right? But this is going to be a precedent for future court cases in regards of stuff like this. And considering that, like, this has absolutely been a complete farce from the get-go, it also means that, like, police systems and court systems should be looked into. Because when people, shut up, prisoner 65421. Go back in your cell. But I mean, the whole thing has stank from day one. But the fact that like a whole group spent 90% of their time character assassinating and spreading false rumors about Jeremy Hales. Now, Jeremy Hales is no angel, don't get me wrong. But the fact that all this was caused by two people who tried to scrounge and grift off him. Factual. That's fact. There's no doubt. There's no one on this planet who can turn around and say that's not right. That's not true. Right? You had two people who tried it not just in Otter Creek, but they tried it in Northport and they tried it in other places as well. But this time they got caught, and look what's happened. And people need to remember one thing. This is not, what the hell's against Jeremy Hales. This is Jeremy Hales against Lynette Preston. People have forgot that part. This case is between those two parties. And by the looks of it, Lynette's going to lose that bankruptcy case, or probably already has. So there you go. But a loss is a loss. But a lot of people are going to fucking learn from this, that's for sure. A lot of people. And there you go. Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you put that picture up one more time?
I closed it.
Oh, okay then. All right then. Just imagine I'm standing there next to my fence. You ready for the yeet?
Yep.
3. Ha ha ha. 2 sheep. Ha ha ha. 1 sheep. Ha ha ha. Yeet.